Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairin' on her, flaring on her. We Ric Flairin' on her, flaring on her. Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairin' on her, flaring on her. Yeah, we Ric Flairin' on her, flaring on her. It's apparent these girls staring. I'm Ric Flairin', gold across my chest. I'm fresh to death, I'm Paul Bearing, not at all scary. One eye open like Betty Wops and find to these circles that's going in like a carry shot. Woo! I'm going in like a Mary Pop off that Mary crop at the top flow at the Marriott. So questioning me is like questioning you. See, we the best dressed, so come and get blessed with the crew. Not one but two, different ways to slaughter your crew. Committed tat across the chest, I guess she blessed with the truth. People want to see them checks, representation of proof. Living through my elders, trying to resonate to the youth. But ain't nothing to get my flash on. Longevity is heavily embedded in my melanin. Layman terms, I last long. My grind repetitive, I'm smoother than real silk. Lyrical cash cow, who can't cry over spilled milk. We in here. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairin' on her, flaring on her. We Ric Flairin' on her, flaring on her. To the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairin' on her, flaring on her. We Ric Flairin' on her, flaring on her. This ain't no normal situation, this preparation with greatness. Industry full of fakeness, it's really up for the taking. See, life is what happened to you, more so how you take it. Don't get stripped of your knowledge and mentally leave you naked. I like to live otherwise. I'm sorry that I'm fresh to death. I put the polo and apologize. See, black son, we ain't nothing like the mother guys. Quit to socialize, we organize, then we mobilize. Off the deep end like a scuba diver. And no confusion, just keep it pushing like Uber drivers. Woo! Business fresh just like a supervisor in a Gucci visor. Can't find a smoother rhymer. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairin' on her, flaring on her. We Ric Flairin' on her, flaring on her. To the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairin' on her, flaring on her. We Ric Flairin' on her, flaring on her.
Yeah, DQ baby. Shout out that boy Nigga for that fire track. Hey, Black Sun, sun up. What's up, Vinny Vegas? What in Vegas? Yeah. Shout out Pharaoh's Kids, D-Phase. Yeah. Bubba C. Yeah. Ric Flairin' on him. Ric Flairin' on him. Ric Flairin' on him. Ric Flairin' son up, baby.
Hey, yo, Scotty, we back.
Yo,
Appreciate you for
Kid,
reaching
you a
out.
star.
I'm like, hey, it's outspoken. A lot changed. Granted, the concept we still hosting. Giving you the fix you need when on the screen. The veteran, Captain Petty, giving you medicine. Come tap in. You know Scott gon' do what he do. Might not want to hear it, but here go the hard truth. Perry about the numbers, regret if you're not fact-based. When you run your lane, the numbers seem like a statue. Wait. Hey, Scotty, man, I'm not feeling it. I don't think the people feeling it. Let me get in my bag a little bit, just showing what this outspoken really about to be like. Outspoken, this is more than conjecture. These days they laying people off. So glad that we got our own. Hunger insatiable, made for you if you say you objective. Hard truth offering, no offense, just perspective. Come get your dosage and go with me. We spit it like poetry. The pivot was pivotal. Could rhyme here, but I'd rather not. Some say Scotty, some call him Scott. The best one since Stewart. If you know, then you know. But if you don't, then you lost. Let me be frank for a minute, cause we all know that's how Perry be. Break it down the game for what it was. No apologies. This my hypothesis. You tune in, you like watching it. It's common sense, obvious, competent, rugged, and confident. Hey, we outspoken. We outspoken. We outspoken. This is outspoken, and we gon' put on a show, even if we hear you say I can't. It's outspoken.
Hey, back.
Woo! Listen, you already know what it is. It's your boy Scotty. You're watching Outspoken. I couldn't be nothing without my brother from another. You already know, from the boot or the top. He's from Chicago. Kind of moved to Arkansas. With the it doesn't matter. Perry White. You know, it's football season. It's football. It's about that time. It's about
I forgot.
It's about that time.
I'm practicing.
Oh man.
What's up with it, Scotty?
Man, it's good. Your boy Varric said, great show, man. Great pregame show.
Man, I appreciate that, V.
Man, hey man, we're chilling, we here. Been on a little hiatus for a little bit, came back, renewed, re-energized, you know what I'm saying? How you feel? Yeah, listen, bro. Where are are you from Chicago? What do you claim? What you set claiming? Because you Chicago, Arkansas, Baton Rouge. Listen, man.
What they say, I got ties everywhere, man. It's the same way like you. You like the DMV, then it's like Dallas, and then you just kind of all over the place. I'm just kind of all over the place, man. I got family everywhere, except Louisiana. How about that?
Wow, that's wow. I got my family. Yeah,
I got my Southern family here.
Yeah,
brother.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's about as good as family you're gonna get right there. You know me. I got hoes. Hey, I got in different area. What y'all know about that? They used to go back in the day. Hoes.
Yeah, man. So that's the beautiful thing. A lot of people not blessed to have family all over the place and to be able to, go here and there. So, but the crazy thing is no family in Louisiana, not one cousin, auntie, uncle, nothing. So I just came here and kind of spread my wings. But yeah, rest of my family, Midwest, Kansas City, Chicago, Milwaukee, Cleveland, St. Louis.
Cleveland, this is for you. I'm sorry.
You just wanted that one?
I'm sorry. I always wanted to do that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I'm just,
Yeah.
Hey. Where's most of your family from?
Texas and Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom's side is from Texas. My dad's side is from Georgia. So that's where most of my family is. So I don't really have any immediate family in Maryland. It's a lot of that family is people my mom served with for a long time. So I've known them. They probably knew me before I was even consummated. You know what I'm saying? So, so I just call them aunts and uncles and stuff like that, like military buddies and stuff like that. But immediate families in Texas and Georgia. So, yeah.
Okay, y'all coming out of Texas and Georgia.
Yeah, man. For me to be such a northerner, you know what I'm saying? My family is strictly Southern roots. They don't go above the Mason-Dixon line. My aunt just went to Washington, D.C. She 50-something. She just went to D.C. 2 years ago. They stay within Oklahoma is about as much as you gonna get. They gonna go to the they're gonna go across the river to Oklahoma, and they gonna go to the boats in Louisiana to gamble. But that's it. That's about as far as they gonna go.
Yeah, people in Louisiana. If I say Arkansas, they think that's up by Minnesota. Damn, that's way up north. You know what I'm saying? It be snowing up there, don't it? They just think it's somewhere by Iowa and South Dakota. But
what's funny? I think I won't say all. I apologize any Southern if I offended. Most Southerners, anything past Virginia is New York. Yo, when I lived in Texas for about a year, and I went to school, they where you from? I'm like, I'm from Maryland, and they be like, where's that at? I'm like, it's Virginia, DC. They be like, is that close to New York? I'm like, oh my God, man. I be like, really? That's all you? Geography in them southern states? It's not the best. Geography of them southern states is not the best. It is just, I'd be like, they don't teach y'all. In Texas, they got Texas history.
They also got the Texas Pledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's different.
It's different.
It's different.
They hit that Pledge of Allegiance to the United States, and all of a sudden, You would hear that tell you like, what the hell?
Man, when I first went there, because I sat down, you know, like, I pledge allegiance to the flag. Then you sit down, and they be like, I pledge allegiance to the I said, what is this?
Different.
Texas is different, man. Texas, if anybody hasn't gone to public school in Texas, there's a class that is like, you have to learn Texas history. Like, it's not no joke. Like, it's that serious. So, you know, I think a lot of other states in the South, like Alabama and stuff, they just have a lot of historic moments and stuff. So they kind of, it's just naturally in history. But like Texas having Texas history, I'm like, all right.
And then like my family, you know, ended up spreading because I got family in Vegas, KC, all of the Midwest. It was the typical part of that Great Migration. You know, my grandmother's and all of her brothers and sisters from a small town in Arkansas. And ultimately ended up moving, you know, for better opportunities.
Yeah.
When you're from a small town of 2,000, you know, it's that white family, that one white family that own everything.
That own everything.
And, you know, you getting paid pennies. You got to go, you know, if that's going to be the life. Most of the time, if you're a woman, you probably going to be cleaning somebody's house. And we talking way back when, you know, so the opportunities wasn't really there. So that's how my family ended up moving and getting opportunities in the bigger cities, the part of that Great Migration. So that's how my Midwest roots spread it out. But it come from out the South, just like many people. Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, a lot of people, Louisiana, for you, Texas, and Georgia. So yeah, they just moved out of the South and went up north and created families, and that's just where it was. But you never forgot your roots down South. And we always made sure, especially with Arkansas, where we're from in that small town, you know, that anytime we're there, and that's where majority of the family is buried, you know, the ancestors, that's where they is. So,
you know, I'm looking at this chat and I'm seeing a lot of Southern states have Southern history. Now, I want to be very clear about this because Southerners take their Southern pride very seriously. Black, white, or it's indifferent. They have Southern pride.
It's different, though.
It's very much so different. I want to be it's very much so different, right? Because you got black Southern pride and you got white Southern pride, and it's completely different.
Like, I'm not the South gonna rise again, but I'm like, the South got something to say at the same time.
I like that. You know, perfect analogy. If you know, right? Like, perfect analogy. But the thing about this, right? Because I would say this to Southerners, right? They'd be like, you didn't never take Maryland history. And I want to be very clear. For Maryland to be a part of the 13 colonies, okay, we started this joker. I just want to be very clear. So if anybody has the most history, it is said East Coast.
I thought Delaware was the first state.
We're not talking about the first state. I said part of the 13 colonies. Okay? 13 colonies.
I have a problem with it. Like, you know, all right. They consider the Carolinas and Virginia the South, right? To me, I look at that as East Coast. And then I look at like upper East Coast. You know, it's East Coast and it's upper East Coast. Like New York, Jersey.
Oh, man.
You know, Baltimore, going all the way up to Boston. That's like upper East Coast. But then everything else over there, like, I just don't consider that the South. But I guess that's because it's hard sometimes to kind of put Texas and Oklahoma for a lot of people in the South.
I consider Oklahoma like beige, right? Like interracial, right? Because they're very mixed. Like if you've been to Oklahoma, it's like nothing's in Oklahoma. That would be very clear. Like it's not worth being in. But it's like right there to where you're like, it is South. It is a Southern thing, but y'all not really Southern. You know, because even the top part of Texas that connects to Oklahoma, they be looking at them sideways. You know what I'm saying? So it's very, very finicky on Oklahoma. But to me, listen, if anybody above Virginia is going to tell you Virginia is the South, like that is where it starts. You can't have the Confederate capital in Virginia and then not consider it the South. That's just like history-wise, right? Anybody below the Carolinas is going to tell you South Carolina, the South, because you got the south of the border between Georgia and they got that south of the border thing at Georgia and South Carolina. So like they'll tell you that is the South. So the Carolinas are just in a very funny place. But I'm telling you, Anybody above Virginia is going to say Virginia is the South, because if you've gone through Virginia, if you spent time in the state of the Commonwealth of Virginia, them ninjas is the definition of racist, okay? Virginia is the definition of racist.
And I guess at the same time, like Arkansas, Tennessee, they have that idea of the Mid-South. You ever heard of the Mid-South?
I've never heard of the Mid-South.
Well, that's UAPB's band. They the marching musical machine of the Mid-South.
Uh-huh.
So I guess Mid-South, because Missouri is almost like knocking on the door. It's kind of Southern. But Tennessee, Arkansas, that area, that's kind of like the Mid-South is what they... And you know what I always thought about? And think with me. The SWAC, right? It's the Southwestern Athletic Conference, but they're not in the Southwest.
Stick with me. Stick with me. You trying to have an uprising right now. That's what you want to say.
It is not the Southwest. It's literally the Southeast. And I know you got the SEC, but the Southwest will be like Arizona, New Mexico, right?
The SWAC just sounds better though. You can't say the SEAC. That's what you gonna call it, the SEAC?
The Southeastern Athletic Conference is really what it is. It's nothing Southwest about none of these states. Louisiana, Alabama, Florida. What is Florida? That's as east as it can get. I don't know. It ain't the Southwest.
He said before the modern SWAC, it was composed of mostly.
I know the history of the SWAC, of the Wiley colleges and all of those.
Okay, go ahead, Pete. Just go ahead and break it down for him.
I don't have to break now. I ain't got time for all that. But, you know, the SWAC has its history before a lot of the teams that we have today that was in it. Because, I mean, even with A&M and UAPB, a lot of people, they were 90s joined in the SWAC. So, you know, it's still not the Southwest. That's all I'm saying. It just...
You know what? This actually makes more sense for the SWAC than the SWAC. If it was called the Gulf Coast, because really you are literally... all your teams are legit around the Gulf of Mexico, the little border. You know what I'm saying? The Gulf of Mexico. So the Gulf Coast Conference would have really made sense for the SWAC now, and how it's aligned with Tallahassee and Bethune and, you know, Alabama and Mississippi. Are
we proposing a name change for the future?
I wouldn't be mad at it. I really wouldn't. The South Gulf Coast Conference, the Suggers.
Hey, what now?
The Suggers, you know what I'm saying? The Suggers, the SAG, South Athletic Gulf Conference. That's not bad. The SAG.
I just bear with me here. I mean, since we're talking about the South, and it's something I thought about. It's just like we're not in the Southwest at all. This is not the Southwest region. It does not fit our landscape, our regional presence at all.
He said SWAC ain't got money to re-rent. Said we good. He's the Third Coast Conference. That's not bad. That's not bad. He said the C is silent. Yeah, the SAG is South. Yeah, the SEAC. The SEAC works. That works. The SEAC.
The Southeastern Athletic Conference?
Yeah.
I mean, just take the West and put the East, because we are East. Florida, nothing West about Florida at all. Period, point blank. There's nothing West. I don't, you know, except when you're in Florida, you either on the Gulf side or you on the Atlantic side. And the Gulf side would be the West side, but that's about as west as you're going to get with Florida.
And technically, Tallahassee is on the west side of Florida because it's closer to the, you know, the Gulf.
But Bethune-Cookman is on the what?
It's on the east side.
So
yeah,
just think about it. I mean, just something out there for people to think about. We're not in the Southwest region of the United States at all.
Yo, that's an elite conversation. And when you have elite conversations, you gotta have it and pair it with Elite 15 Coffee. Okay, Elite 15 Coffee, veteran-owned, Black-owned business. You know where you can find it in the link in the description below. Elite 15 Coffee paired with Elite Conversations. It's no better way you can have it. Okay, and as Mama Body said, who's gotten the coffee, the Colombian is hitting. Okay, whereas breast milk. You made my day. All right, so get you some Elite 15 coffee today and get yours in. Now let's get into a little hot and viral. Now, Perry, I went off the rails on this one. I got some very out of the box conversations.
I try to finding a way to get me to be a part of it. Huh?
You gotta have a conversation because you good with the. Oh, that's crazy, Scotty.
It take a lot to wow me. Wow me today. Wow me.
All righty, here we go. First up, hey, gotta give a shout out to Will Smith at Coachella. Jada Pinkett Smith will never get me to hate this man. Here we go.
Will Smith! Let's go.
Here come the MIB. Here come the MIB. Coachella.
Let's go.
Nah. The good guys dressed in black. Remember that, just in case we ever face to face and make contact. Title held by me, MIB. Me what you think you saw, you did not see. So don't blink, be what was there is now gone. Black suit with your black Ray-Bans on. Walk in shadow, move in silence. Guard against extraterrestrial violence. But yo, we ain't on no government list. We straight don't exist, no names and no fingerprints. Saw something strange, watch your back. Cause you never quite know where the MIBs is at. Sing! It's the MIB. Yo, become the MIB.
Listen, you gotta put some respect on Will Smith's name. This song still goes, okay, we in 2024, it is still a banger. Idiot Coachella.
You didn't wow me with this one.
What? Come on, man. Oh, this is a great.
What about this?
How he's still relevant? My man.
He just slapped Chris Rock. I mean, of course he's relevant. Everybody talked about Will Smith nonstop, almost for he just now coming up from under that rock.
Come on,
probably
man.
The past half a year, 6 months.
How you not? You gotta let man. I'm telling how he come off in this. Hey,
I like Men in Black. I still listen to Summer. I think that's the best song he ever made.
Oh yeah, drums, please.
Yeah. That set the tone for a vibe for summer. Yeah. I mean, you just wasn't expecting this one, I guess.
No, I wasn't. No, I absolutely wasn't. It was on my Twitter, and I was going crazy. I was like, what? Men in Black. Listen, that was my movie. I know that movie line by line. Okay, NYPD means I will knock your punk ass down. Like, come on, man. Men in Black is a classic. Is a classic. You know this thing, me and you. I make this look good. Come on, man. Stop playing with my man. Stop.
They sold those shades and made a ton of money doing
yes.
that.
I was watching off the Steve Stout jank, and he was talking about how much money they made off those shades, man. So
how about you remember the Wild Wild West?
Who don't remember the Wild Wild West?
I don't know. Somebody out there may not remember the Wild Wild West.
I love that movie too. I love that movie. Listen, Will Smith's one of my favorite actors, so I guess that's kind of. And I'm gonna be sitting right there at Bad Boys 4. I'm gonna be right there. I don't give a damn. It'd be Bad Boys 6. They could be in wheelchairs. I'm gonna be right there. Do you hear me? I'm a fan. I'm a fan. So I thought that was his next level, man. Here come the Men in Black. Because
I don't know what to do with my hands moment.
Because what you think you saw, you did not see. Come on, man. That's a bar. Whole bar.
Yeah, he came out of left field with that one.
Yeah, that's why I said I was drowning in the bucket trying to drug up some stuff. But this next one, though, I think I might get you in this next one. I don't know. I'm gonna say so. So here we go. All right. I'm listening to the radio station. I'm listening to D.L. Hughley. Oh, it's always D.L. Hughley. And this was a story that he said on D.L. Hughley. The story is that a lesbian couple, one of them went to go get a sperm donor.
Choose your words wisely here.
I'm just telling you the story off D.L. Hughley. That's all I'm saying. One of them went to go get a sperm donor while they were together, right? They have the baby together as a couple. 5 years into the relationship, the girl says she doesn't want to be with her and she doesn't want no responsibility with the kid, right? The girl's like, all right, cool, whatever. Just pay me child support. And the girl was like, did you not hear? I said, I ain't want no responsibility with the kid. So the lady who gets the sperm donor goes out of her way to find said sperm donor to make him pay child support. Is that fair? And who should pay child support for this baby?
You got me with this one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. This is crazy. This is next level crazy. Like, I feel like if it's
I'm sorry, God.
if two lesbians want to have a baby with a sperm donor, and it is, how about y'all both get pregnant then together?
Oh, that's good, Pete.
Like, right? Because you both women. I mean, what you rock, paper, scissoring on who gonna have the baby, or
Really?
I guess a little bit more managed. I don't know. I just a slippery slope because they all not managed. I don't know how the hell this even goes. But if y'all want to, how about both y'all be pregnant at the same time by the same sperm donor?
That's fair.
Okay.
Fair.
But this is crazy. So do you not? I've never given sperm before. I guess I've never been that desperate for cash or somewhere. I had to go drop something off in a cup. Do you not sign anything to once you donate that to where nothing comes back on you? Or
it's supposed to happen, but they were. I do believe they were married. I do believe they were married. I'm gonna give you that. I do believe they were married. My thing was this. From what I've heard other stories of women going to get sperm donors and having the baby, and then later on coming back for the male to get child support. I have heard about stories about that. I don't know the laws behind sperm donating, if it's allowed or if it's not allowed. But man,
was she artificially inseminated, or was it a natural?
No, artificially. Process? She was artificially inseminated with the sperm to have the baby. There was no like, oh, hey, I know my guy, he's gonna give me some sperm, and that. Nah, it was like artificially inseminated.
How about you drop something off in the cup, right, and going on about your business, and 4 years later you get a call talking about you owe me child support, and you're like, well, I never slept with this lady a day in my life. You know, don't even know what it feel like, and what's she talking about? You know, like, who pays for this baby?
Who pays for the baby?
Shit, old girl need to pay for the baby herself. I mean, all right. I mean, because this slippery slope, this is crazy, bro. I just put it to you like this, right? You made the decision to go artificially have a baby, right?
Yep.
And that was the decision that you and your significant other or partner made, right? Well, understanding that partner didn't make the baby with you, anything can happen. Anything.
Yeah.
Now, what should probably happen? Were they married? You said they weren't married.
Yes, they were.
If in this case, she should be going after the friend, the significant other.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys talked about that and that was a decision that y'all made together, this is a baby that y'all talked about together, bringing into this world. I don't think the sperm donor should have any accountability to this. He did his part to help populate the world in other ways, right? For those who choose to want to be have kids but don't want to do it the natural selective way, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, the homegirl, the other homegirl who left need to be put on child support because that was a collective thought, and because of that thought collectively, she needs to be held responsible. So put her on child support. That's my idea.
You know, I 1,000% agree. I think there needs to be laws put in place for this, right? Because if you're going to allow same-sex marriages and they have to go about getting a kid a unconventional way, right? Then I think they should have a law proceeding if they choose to either adopt, right? If you either choose to adopt or have IVF, you should both be responsible at the time of, if you're married and at the time of the adoption or the time of the IVF or the sperm donating or whatever you want to call it, that they should be required to have, you know, the child support be paid on both parents because they both are responsible for, you know, the bringing of this life together. So it was a mutual decision. I wouldn't believe that one made this choice without the other one's consent. So I think
is Brittany Griner like in this situation right now? I wanted to say I just saw something. Brittany Griner's wife or girlfriend or her significant other is pregnant. No,
I don't know.
How often is? I mean, I guess I don't pay attention to. People and what they do in life.
I think this happens very often, right? Because because same-sex marriages want to have families, right? So like the brat, she has a girlfriend. The brat actually carried the baby that they now have together with said girlfriend. So this happens very often. So that's what I'm saying. There needs to be laws put in place that prevent the whomever who did not carry to just up and leave. You know what I'm saying? So
this fucking up the world.
Yeah. So yes, she is. You're absolutely right. Miss Campbell says yes. Brittany Griner's wife is pregnant. So you know what I'm saying? So I think
it's confusing. And then when the baby's born, I mean, is your daddy the woman, the other woman, or is your daddy just nigga that I don't know. I don't know.
You just have two moms. You have two moms and two dads.
How you got two dads?
If they're a gay couple, you have two dads. That's what else that's just how it works. Two dads, two moms.
It's just confusing, man. It's so confusing. It's confusing for a child. You know, I mean, and to each his own, man. I don't care how y'all have sex. Do it, y'all. Do it, whatever. If you want to do it the Diddy way, if you want to do it the regular way, I don't care how y'all do it, man.
Or if you want to do it the elite way, make sure you get yourself some Elite 15 coffee. It will help you with your integration and relations with your significant other in an amazing way. Elite 15 coffee, veteran-owned, Black-owned business. Get you some Elite 15 coffee today. That was hot and viral.
Yeah.
I got you though.
You was trying today.
Yeah, boy, I told you I went in the crate. I was like, I gotta find something. I was digging deep.
You gotta listen. Give me one day. Go listen to the national news, some crazy story, something. Catch me with something. God, dog, boy. That one was crazy.
I tried, man. You know,
that was a slippery slope too. Like, I don't know.
Listen, I mean, as long as, to me, I look at it like this. As long as you're not being disrespectful and you're just having an open conversation, that's what life is all about. Everybody has their opinions. Nobody bashing nobody else. It's just that I look at it like this. If everybody's asking for equal rights, then it has to be on an equal playing field. Just as a heterosexual couple, they would have child support. I believe a same-sex couple should have child support. You want to be same-sex, want to be married? Just like heterosexual couples want to be married? Take all the responsibility that comes with that marriage, okay? It comes with alimony. It comes with child support, all that, okay? Half of your retirement, all that. I need you to get all them penalties that come with being married, period.
That child, man, I feel sorry for that child, though.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Does she sign the birth certificate? Does the second mom sign the birth? That's a great question.
Even greater, who last name does the baby get?
That's fair.
They both women. I mean, I don't know how the other side, same sex work. Like, and when it's two men and two women, who decides who gets the last name when it's the same.
Well, if you're married, you already have chosen. You've already chosen. You know what I'm saying? Or like he says, probably hyphenated. Yeah, hyphenated.
Yeah,
KP hyphenated. So
now you gonna get my last name. No, you gonna get my last name. Like now, no, I won't. You know, like I don't. What? Huh?
Hey, listen. Also, I want to give a shout out for this young lady who hit me up on Twitter. I was supposed to get her name. I got it real quick. Let me get that for y'all. Her name is Taylor Denise Richardson. She is a Spelman Knight. All right, she's doing a Black Books Matters challenge. It is a GoFundMe. Listen, we are here to support everything Black owned, baby. You know how we get down. All right, so you can go find her on the GoFundMe. All right, let me see. Accept all. Boom, boom, boom. She's trying to raise $21,000 for Black Books Matter. Listen, 25, 50, 10, 20. It don't matter. We support Black Books Matter challenge here on the Offscript channel. So Taylor, keep doing your thing. All right, make sure you guys go over there. The link is also in the description below. Make sure you go send something, be a part of it, help raise this $21,000 goal, man. We reach one, teach one, everybody help somebody. All right, too easy. So
these kids out here, hey, they not reading, bro.
That's facts.
Our people, our kids.
That's facts.
You know, they not reading. They just know symbols and how to get to stuff. They not reading. And I'm talking high school, junior high kids reading on the elementary level, man. It's not good at all. We are far behind as a community when it comes to the importance. And I know, look, we talk HBCUs. Man, there's so many potential Black African-American students out there that could be our next generation of customers, but they don't have the skills.
Yeah.
They don't have the simple educational fundamental to even look at college.
That's real. That's real. So once again, just like Perry said, we need to support and help in all bases. You know what I'm saying? Give something. All right. Don't kill yourself, but give what you can. All right. Give what you can. Want to appreciate her for letting me do this. And lastly, I got a huge announcement for the Offscript brand. Listen, Offscript presents the OffscriptNetwork.com, baby. We up and running. Okay. We are up and running. I have my own personal network. All right. I have some stuff working in the wings. Just want to show you guys. So you can go to offscriptnetwork.com. It's pretty much everything on my YouTube that is now online, right? You can click on it. We're still working out the kinks. It's still growing. It's still new. So bear with me. All right. Just imagine Offscript with the t-shirts in the background. You know, when Perry, you remember you first saw me with the lawn chair and all. We there, okay? We just starting it out. It's new, all right. This is monetized already, so if you watch anything, you can just leave it on. You can literally turn it on your house, leave it on, and don't have to watch it, and it will still support, you know, Offscript and everything like that. So just want to let y'all know it's up and running. We got a lot of stuff coming. All right, got a lot of stuff coming on this platform. There's going to be some stuff coming down the pipe. So just want to let you guys know offscriptnetwork.com is in full effect. All right, is in full effect. I'll probably change the name, but as of right now, it's offscriptnetwork.com. So make sure you put that, save that.
I feel like because you know, I got a network. I feel like we networking. The On the Yard network, the Offscript network.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna promote mine right quick, big. Since you know, hey, I got a network too, the On the Yard network. Y'all go follow that. You can catch it on all social media as well as YouTube. On the Yard network. Simple as that.
I got you. I'm about to bring it up right now. On the Yard. I like you changed the logo.
We networking. Networking.
Here we go.
We got some networks
right there On the Yard. Make sure you guys go support. All right. Make sure y'all go support On the Yard here in full effect. All right. Got all the clips. He get more views than me, and that's our stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so he got all the clips, man. So y'all make sure y'all go tune in and check it out. All right. On the
multiple shows on different areas, man. You know, the thing is, I looked at it as like what we've been talking about, a network anyway.
Yeah.
Down with all together and just make it easier for people to see something from one show. Click on that, and then it may be a show like I did from the hill with the cats at Alabama A&M. It gave an opportunity where if you didn't know about it and you saw me on there and I put it on the network, you can go click and then go find out about their stuff, man. This is how we ultimately cycle this stuff to make it work. You know, and I do the same thing with our show. I do the same thing with the Jaguar Journal. I do the same thing with the show I do with Roger Kadar. I follow it all there, and that's why I called it the network. And then you ultimately can find everything you need to go from there. So, yeah.
That's what we're doing, building.
We got to do a something. We got to collaborate the Offscript network and the On the Yard network with something.
Yeah, we might have to do that. We have to knock that out. That's dope. All right, let's get into this show today, baby. All right. National Championship 87-75. Me and Perry were not able to come on to talk about it. We're going to do a quick recap. Perry, listen, this game, I was in Atlanta. I was at my homeboy's house. Everybody was locked in. Right, it was like 10 people at the crib just watching one TV. So I know they did crazy numbers, but I couldn't even imagine just all the people actually watching the game at people's friends' house and everything like that. How was your impression of the game?
My impression of it was I felt like a little racy behind it. It felt racy. Can I say that? Does that make sense?
Oh no, it definitely makes sense.
It felt like up the street versus down the street, if that makes sense. Across the tracks and over the tracks. It's kind of how I felt with this one. It kind of built that up from what I was seeing with comments and all over the place. It's just me though. It felt got a little racy with it. You know, so do we want to break down of the game?
You can. I mean, I think everybody pretty much knows.
Well, I was just happy to see South Carolina finish off this perfect season. You know, when you look back at the SEC tournament, they almost got put out against Tennessee. And of all the people to hit the big shot, Cardozo, somebody who not even known for threes, right?
Yeah.
And put them in a situation, but 87-75, man, this was a good game. Caitlin Clark, she shot 10 of 28, 30 points in this ball game, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and then Cardozo, the big 6'7", South Carolina, 15 points, 17 rebounds. But you know who was really big in this game? Came off the bench, and I said this was a big-time playmaker off the bench. Tessa Johnson.
Oh, Tara Johnson. I thought she started.
She came off the bench.
Oh man, that girl crazy. She
freshman.
Both the freshmen for Wiley and Tessa. Crazy.
19 points in that game, which came in clutch for them in that ball game. I mean, Dunn wins another championship, and I mean, you look at Caitlin Clark. Do we go into this conversation of Caitlin Clark and Dunn and the impact on the game of women's basketball? And I mean, as much as I've heard the stories and people's, you know, Caitlin Clark, not the greatest, you could put her name. I just say, regardless, everybody don't have to necessarily be the greatest, right? Because it's subjective to whatever era, who you've seen, who you didn't see. It's like the same era of the Jordan to LeBron, then Kobe in there. Then you go back even further, you'll have somebody from back in the day tell you Dr. J and Wilt Chamberlain. It's just subjective to what you saw. But nonetheless, I think what we saw with Caitlin Clark was a masterful job. I think it's something that was once in a lifetime. I mean, she's the all-time leading scorer in Division I NCAA history, a 2-time National Player of the Year, 3-time Big Ten Player of the Year, a 3-time NCAA season scoring leader, a 3-time NCAA season assist leader. She's the first Division I basketball player to record 3,800 points, 1,000 assists, and 950 rebounds. I just want to say that slow because that just ain't easy to do. And I don't care white, black, it don't matter. Yeah. And also she's the first Division I player to have back-to-back 1,000-point seasons. That's a lot. And on the other side, you look at Dunn. I mean, I love the culture that she brings. She's unapologetically herself. You see her cha-cha slide and electric slide in practice. She is who she is, and is not to change for anybody. A 3-time NCAA tournament champion, right? 6-time NCAA regional Final Fours, an 8-time SEC tournament champion, 8-time SEC regular season champion. She's a 4-time Naismith Coach of the Year and a 7-time SEC Coach of the Year, just to name a few, man. Those accolades aren't easy to come by.
Not at all.
Not easy at all to come by. And I just think both of them together is what made that game one of the most watched games in what? I think they said since like 2019, 2018.
From what I got, it says most watched women's basketball college game on record since 1992. 18.7 million viewers on ABC and ESPN. Peaked at 24 million views. That is just crazy. Viewership up 89% from 2023 and up 285% from 2022. Man, that's just amazing to me. And then for them to outdraw the men's game as well was just crazy. Guys, I also want to let you guys know we're opening up the call lines up a lot
You are
earlier
the
today.
only participant in the conference. All participants are muted.
We definitely want to hear from you today. We're going to get into some transfer portal. We're going to get into some spring ball. So if you went to a spring game, if you know a player going to the transfer portal or anything like that, when we get to those sections, be more than welcome to call in, and we'll get you on and hear what you got to say about your spring game or the environment or anything like that. Man, it's just an absolute amazing atmosphere and absolutely amazing game. Let me ask you this. How good can Dawn be? Because I want to put this in context. I did some Perry Wright research. There has been 10 teams that have gone undefeated. 5 of them have been Gino Auriemma's UConn Huskies. Pat Summitt, Texas, Dawn, and Baylor. Those are the other 5 teams that have gone undefeated. And all those coaches, Kim, Pat, Gino, are in the Mount Rushmore of women's basketball coaching, and Gino is probably in that realm of just great all-time coach, period. How good can Dawn Staley be?
I like your research.
Come on, man.
I like your research. I like that. You're basing it on something. I mean, how good can she be moving forward? I think the sky's the limit. She doesn't look like anytime soon she's going to call it quits. And I think as long as she has breath in her body, she's going to continue to push. And the way she creates the culture, she sets the bar high, but there's a culture in place. And when you have a coach like her who has personality and charisma and can handle the naysayer, because she understands what it's like to be a Black woman and look off into a lot of times a white room of media, and already knowing that they probably not on her side. They looking for anything to nitpick about, anything to push a button about, because it was like when she was at LSU and they said, hey, the crowd was booing you.
Yeah.
And she found a way to flip it. I think everything about her, the sky is the limit. If she continues to roll the way that she is, I mean, the next 10, 15 years with her, I think she can accomplish great things. Now, Gino,
That's another level, bro. I didn't realize, like, doing the research, I was like, because the question was really going to be, can she catch Gino? But then when I started doing the research, I said, let me take that down. I said, let me go ahead and change that question, because he's on and this is what I want to be. I want to say this to people out there. Understand, Gino did not have the portal. So a lot of the girls that he got were locked in, like they weren't going anywhere. You had the coach had to approve this and approve that and let you get out of this and let you get. There wasn't the ease of free agency like Dawn has to deal with now. Like one of her players going to North Carolina State, and now they're having to see her again in the tournament. That wasn't happening in the early years of Gino when he was running in the 90s and early 2000s with UConn, right? And late with Breanna Stewart, even the Breanna Stewart days, right? So I want to be very clear. So what Dawn is doing in this new era of basketball is a feat to behold. So I want to put it in context, because I like something that I can't remember the lady's name that Caitlin Clark, the record that she beat. I can't remember her name right now, of the all-time leading scorer in basketball. And she said, you can't duplicate something that's not being duplicated. She said, I played with a men's ball and we didn't have a 3-point shot. So she said, when you duplicate that, then you can come back and tell me about being the all-time leading scorer and doing the things that she did, right? I think it's the same thing with Dawn Staley in this new era of basketball. It's hard to duplicate what she's doing because she's doing it at such a high level. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my personal opinion, but go ahead.
I mean, I'm with you. I mean, the sky's the limit for Dawn. I just think she's great in what she's doing now. And I just love her being her as a Black woman. She gets up there and she expresses who she is with her culture, who she is with her personality, and she is not changing it for anybody. And shout out to South Carolina, which is a very racy state, right? To allow her to be who she is. And hey, they got a black men and women's basketball coach. So and men's basketball wasn't too bad, but I mean, even more so, North Carolina State, both men and women making it to Final Fours. That was pretty big, wasn't it?
That was crazy. That was crazy. That was crazy. And the big boy for North Carolina State, they want him to go to the NFL draft.
Yeah, he said he's not looking at playing in the NFL.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. When you don't get drafted, because when you don't get drafted, it's gonna look a little different when your value is more in the NFL than it is in the NBA, because the NBA is not a traditional. But anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I love Dunn though. Just keep it like that, man. Just 38-0 is not easy. Go undefeated in anything in life.
Yeah,
it's not easy. So the fact that she did it and the way she's going about doing it, then she showed class even after winning that championship by respecting Caitlin Clark, just to say what type of ball player that Caitlin Clark is, and that she respected her. Because I've been saying to folks all since the season started, name me somebody else from Iowa team.
You said name you what? You kind of broke up.
Somebody else from Iowa's team.
Stokely?
Yeah, right. Whatever. Yeah, we don't even know the name good enough.
She have black.
I get it, but
Kate Morgan. Hey, that girl was cold with the fadeaway Dirk Nowitzki shot. That girl was cold. That's all I got for you though.
I can assure you, all the millions of people, when they watched Iowa, they just knew Caitlin Clark. Don't know the coach name. Who the hell is the coach?
I don't. Lisa Boulder.
Okay,
I just looked it up.
Okay.
Before I came on the show, I had to look it up to kind of. Yeah.
I mean, that's just the truth. I mean, so shout out to her for respecting and honoring Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark did everything in her career but have a national championship. The white girl was cold, man. It is cold, and look, no, I can't knock it. When I saw what she did to LSU, it was just like she had it on her mind that day, and she put it on full display for us to see. It ain't no fluke.
Yeah,
it's not a fluke.
Yeah.
It was white on white crime. Did you see that, Haley? I mean, it was white on white crime for the whole country to see.
It was bad. Too.
Oh, it was bad.
It was bad.
I mean, if you could not do nothing but sit there and just watch her go to work. And I mean, if nobody else paid attention to watch her, that should have been the one that caught everybody's attention. And the fact that she got her revenge back on LSU after last year's national championship.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the storylines now. See, that's what we need for women's basketball.
Yeah.
Because women's basketball is catty, right? It's women. You need storylines to build from it. That was a hell of a storyline we've had for 2 years with LSU and Iowa, and then you sprinkle in South Carolina. Now, next year, we got to find another storyline, or if not, it's just going to kind of fade back to the wayside again. We need a villain or villainish in college basketball on the women's side.
Yeah, and you and KP are preaching. We need a villain and a hero. I think the thing for I'm gonna tell you a couple storylines that I think might come up, and then we'll move on. I think Haley Van Lith going to UConn and rebranding herself is probably going to be a storyline. Juju Watkins doing what she's doing another year. Her sophomore year is going to be a storyline.
But they not beefing with nobody though.
Yeah,
this sport needs beef. Like, you got to have a rivalry to go with it. It has to be a Batman and a Joker. Now, whoever you want to consider the Batman or the Joker, that's on you. But it has to have that feel, so it gets you pumped up and excited. Like South Carolina and LSU, the first time you saw that, it was crazy. You saw how physical it was. It was two teams that looked like they didn't like each other. And you wanted to see that again when it made it to the SEC tournament. It was just something about that build-up. It felt like a rivalry.
No,
Same thing with Iowa and LSU.
It South Carolina and Iowa and LSU were two great rivals, right? Were just two great rivals that because of how it went down. South Carolina was LSU this year. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
Like that's
yep.
how it was. You know, it got knocked out early. Iowa makes it to the championship. They see LSU, they lose. Right now, you flip it around. I mean, it's a perfect storm for ABC and ESPN. Right, you play LSU, you knock them out. You go see South Carolina, you lose. Right, so it was a perfect storm. I don't know if you get that and the way it's and it goes to this question right here. It was really the way that she impacted the nation, right? Because you had literally. She was like the Taylor Swift of basketball. Like that's how it was for white people. White people was like white women, white girls, white people, white men. They were like Caitlin Clark. She's our Taylor Swift. And for all the black people, like, yeah, she cool, but
She ain't no Angel Reese.
she ain't know this, she ain't know that, she ain't no Juju, she ain't this, she not that. She's not Maya Moore, she's not, Simone Augustus, she's not Leah Bar. So like, she's not these great players. So now you have this rift. And if I'm being honest, she's the only reason why I was even interested in the WNBA draft this year. I didn't give two shits about that stuff too. I never cared about the WNBA draft. This is the only time I was like, hey, yo, who went there? And I know the girls who going. So I think her impact to the sport has just been tremendous. Just literally tremendous.
And she has WNBA basketball players talking trash. So when the last time you heard a WNBA basketball player saying something to an incoming rookie coming out of the collegiate level, right?
Bro, I'm telling you, that Diana Taurasi and Caitlin Clark matchup, I'm locked in. So, I don't even watch women's basketball, but like, I'm locked in.
If you're Caitlin Clark, would you take Ice Cube up on his deal, play with the Big Three for $5 million?
Absolutely. You can't turn away money. You can't turn away money. $5 million. Man, I'll be out there. And it's only 3-on-3, so I got way more space to work. Listen, all Caitlin Clark got to do one crazy step back. Cry gonna go crazy. Cry gonna go crazy. But my thing is, do she play with a men's ball?
I mean, I'm not sure. I just say her impact to the sport was tremendous. A lot of times we don't know how to take in what we're witnessing in that moment because we have a lot to say in that moment.
Yeah.
It'll be years down the line when we look back at this and they start to show the videos and it start to get old and you realize things probably quiet down a little bit that you like, damn, we really saw something. That was really great. And I think it's going to take some time for the vast majority of people. Then it was just the way it just felt racy with the situation. I think that's really what turned off a lot of people who could have possibly fell in love with Caitlin Clark and what she had to bring to the game. It was just the storylines of where media and people wanted to go with it to try to create the viewership. And it worked. It was a perfect recipe to what they wanted to do, and it worked. But it just caused a lot of people to not really truly respect what we was able to witness, what Caitlin Clark did for women's basketball, truly by herself, right? LSU with Kim Mulkey, it was a lot going on with the different components and different players. The same thing with South Carolina, but for seriously, what she did for Iowa by herself was
crazy.
Tremendous.
And she's from Iowa. I think that's the dopest thing. Being from Iowa, to be able to put your school on the map by yourself from the same state, I think that's tremendous. She kind of reminds me of it was a quarterback from Boise State, Kellen Moore, where he won that.
Kellen Moore was a bad boy.
Man, and he got like billboards in Boise. Like, he is a legend up in Boise. And I think that's what Caitlin Clark is going to end up being for Iowa. Like, she's going to be that, like, a statue is probably going to be built for her in Iowa. Like, that's how cold. And she deserves it. And it needs to be just like this or like this. It needs to be her like this or shooting a jump shot. You know what I'm saying? So
if she would have won a ring, they could have had her like this statue. If only she could have got a one. Boy,
she would have had dealerships everywhere. Mercedes-Benz, Clark dealership, they would have been everywhere. She would have been set for life. But I think that's such a great thing and I think it was a perfect storm also, Perry, before we move on. I think it was a perfect storm because men's basketball was atrocious. Men's basketball, I can't name you one player off of UConn that won the national championship.
I think with men's basketball, what made college sports so great for fans to be a lot more passionate about it was being able to have that connectivity to players joining programs that you love and watching that player matriculate through that program, coming from a freshman and watching them become seniors, juniors, or whenever, if they were good enough to be able to go to the next level. I think because of the transfer portal now, guys jumping everywhere, you no longer have an opportunity to have a true love for have a favorite player to a team. And that matters when it comes to having a favorite player to liking a team, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's really what's hurting, especially on the men's side, because we're noticing with the women, they're kind of staying put for the most part, right?
Yeah, there's no incentive to go to the WNBA early if I'm making so much money, and you know what I'm saying?
Right. And they jumping around to other schools, but it jumping around is not as prevalent as we're seeing on the men's side. And it's just we don't have that familiarity quite anymore when it comes to men's basketball like we used to when it came to certain teams.
Yeah.
You know, when JJ Redick, and I'm just using when he was at Duke, I mean,
hey, he was the villain for everybody, okay? Especially for me, because I'm Maryland through and through. So he was definitely the villain during those days, you know what I'm saying? So I agree with you wholeheartedly, but it wasn't that. It hasn't been that in a while though, right? Like you might have a couple special players from high school you might want to see, like a LeBron, like Bronny, or like some other small players or whatever, but with the G League, with OTE basketball, and people getting drafted from there, people getting drafted from the G League, people going overseas. You know what I'm saying? It's just the game has just been changing, and you don't see those players like that anymore. I really believe they should just allow kids to go from high school and just call it a wrap. So you don't. It takes away from that 1 year of some degree. You know what I'm saying? Kids just going straight from high school to the NBA. I think you should bring it back, but it is what it is. And as you can see, as Mr. Campbell said, Kate Martin, the Dirk Nowitzki of Iowa, just got drafted. So, you know, she's
and shout out to, you know, I got my favorite Confederate team, right? Everybody knows I got my HBCU team, and I got my favorite Confederate team in the South. And the Pigs of the Razorbacks, right? I'm a Razorback fan, Arkansas fan. Shout out to us for being able to pull Coach John Calipari over there, because look, Kentucky was sick of his ass anyway. They was tired of getting knocked out by no names in that first round of the NCAA tournament. And after 15 years somewhere, I think he had gotten complacent. I think he was just chilling, just doing what he do, just making the money. Hopefully now this lights a fire under him. And what was so funny, when they hired him, they was like, you know, so when you gonna talk to the team? And he's like, there is no team.
Wow.
Everybody's gone. Eric Musselman, of course, left and went to USC. And USC's coach left and went to go to SMU because SMU is joining the ACC. So it was just like a chain reaction effect. But, you know, I'm in a group with some Razorback fans, and I was having that conversation. I said, you know, now that we have him, and I know you guys are excited, do you see Coach Cal? It's a 5-year deal. Can you see him possibly winning the national title within 5 years?
No.
You don't see it?
No.
Okay.
He's going to be competitive. I think what I've heard from a lot of college hoops analysts about Calipari is getting back to that old style of Calipari needs to stop focusing on the 5-star 1-year jumpers and get back to like what Dan Hurley from UConn, getting guys that are going to stay 3 or 4 years in your system, to where now you have a program and not a glorified JUCO. You know what I'm saying? Of just kids coming and going, coming and going, coming. It worked early, but it's not working no more. You got to have that continuity, and those junior and senior led teams mean more at the tournament time. So if he gets back to that old Calipari of getting good players, solid players that stay 2, 3, 4 years in his program, you know what I'm saying? I think he might be able to do something. You know?
I hope so. I mean, 2 Elite Eights in the past 5 years for the Razorbacks, and then don't make the tournament this year. I mean, I just hope he can find success. I hope he can find that fire that used to burn within him, and hopefully get back to that. Because I think 15 years at a place, you do find yourself being content. You do find yourself, I think, just going through the motion.
Yeah.
Especially when everybody kissing your ass. You're the man.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to say anything to you, right? I think he had a lifetime contract in Kentucky.
I don't know about that, but it was the buyout. The buyout was so huge. They was just like, it didn't make sense to fire him. I think it was like 35 million or something crazy like that. You know, and it was just like, hell no. Nah. But let me answer this. So you was, hell yeah, I'm a Steve Blake fan. And I was a Juan Dixon fan till that shit popped off at Coppin State where he was, and then, all that stuff. But I was a Juan Dixon and Steve Blake fan when we won that national championship. You couldn't tell me nothing. Okay? Couldn't tell me absolutely nothing. I love me some Maryland basketball. Okay, I don't watch it like I used to.
So everybody, don't be surprised. I was a little down on Arkansas this year, so don't be surprised if next year me and Scotty we doing a little Arkansas talk next year. Okay, that might be my own piece. What's that look? What's that?
Perry's Pondins. I don't know. We call it something. Perry.
The Razorback corner or something.
Perry's positions. I don't know. No Diddy.
Yeah,
No Diddy. My bad. No Diddy.
But I like my Razorbacks, man. That's a hard team to cheer for, okay? Tough, hard. You got to be a true fan. I'm a true fan.
No Diddy.
So baseball doing good, number 2 in the country. So I'll leave that at that.
Yeah, let's leave it. Let's leave it there.
Whack baseball, boy. Listen.
Let's get into some draft. NFL draft is around the corner. All right, 10 days away from the draft. We're trying to see what we see one. Will we see HBCU players drafted 1, 2, 3, 0? What does it look like this year for the draft of 2024? And as ninjas as we are, we gonna give you some possibles. We ain't got no guaranteed books.
Playing spades tonight.
But we got some what, P? Possibles. We got some possibles. They might walk. Okay, they might walk. They might not. All right. Starting up, we're gonna rev it up. All right. Got Mikey Victor, DB, Alabama State. Perry's gonna give you the stats. I'm gonna just read through the names, and Perry's gonna give you whatever he has on these stats. Taymon Cook, North Carolina A&T, very, very highlight specialist returner guy. I definitely think he has a future in the NFL. Sundiata Anderson, I'm not high on him. A lot of people are because of his measurables. I don't like his tape, but hey, teach his own. Davius Richards, I know a lot of you guys have seen him he got his ankle dislocated. News came out yesterday that he will be ready for training camp, so he is a possibility that he could go. All right, P, you got anything on these guys?
Yeah, and I mean, when you look at being drafted coming out of HBCU ranks, only one guy last year being drafted coming from Jackson State, Isaiah Bolden, in the 2023 draft, coming from the HBCU ranks. I think Davius Richards, you got to be high on him from North Carolina Central. He's the best passing quarterback in HBCU and one of the top in the nation when you talk about coming from the FCS level. He led North Carolina Central to a lot of success. And scouts like his accuracy and they like the velocity on the ball. He has a rocket, right? He can get it and fit it in there when he needs to. I think he has the real upside. And he also ran at 4.6 in the 40, which is pretty solid to consider a dual threat quarterback. He has the measurables, I think, of all of these guys to possibly see the next level, especially coming from the quarterback position in the HBCU ranks, which is truly a rare thing these days. Then I look at your boy, Mikey Victor. You like him a lot, DB from Alabama State, 6'2", 212 pounds. He's a big guy, solid guy. Guess what? He attended he attended 2 bowls, right? And as well as the East and West Shrine Bowl. Did you like him in the bowls?
The East and West Shrine, I think he did really well. The Hula Bowl, I heard he did really good at practices, but I think the East-West Shrine, he did really well.
Yeah, the Hula Bowl, I mean, just the fact that he attended both the Hula Bowl and the East-West Shrine, I think that put him in a position to go out and compete against guys in one-on-one and get a chance to see what he's like against different talent. Some teams see him as an outside corner, while some teams see that he can probably convert to play safety, which I think will be interesting when you look at this. And this is tough because when you start to look at these guys, you're even talking about Taymon Cook. He was one of the top return guys in the country last year. And then Anderson, I'm not still sold on him highly. But I think at the end of the day, when you look at these guys, this is when you start to realize for our level, sometimes you just got to pull back away from the NFL draft and realize this is truly the world of undrafted free agent for the people from the young men from our level.
Absolutely.
And, simple as that.
Got another section of possibles. All right. You got Willie Drew, D2 cornerback, went to the Senior Bowl. Tariq Stewart, tackle for North Carolina A&T. One of my favorite guys, Jordan Toles from Morgan State. I love Jordan Toles. I think he's an absolute dog. Then you got Jarvion Howard, running back from Alcorn. Listen, out of all these guys, I always think you're going to have an opportunity for a Jarvion Howard. Jarvion Howard. He could be a 5th, 6th round pick. If you look at Pacheco from the Kansas City Chiefs, he was a 6th round pick running back and now is the starter for Kansas City. So there's a lot of great value in running backs late. Jordan Toles, 6'1" DB. He has the Power 5 tape that scouts are looking for, right? He went to LSU, then transferred to Morgan State, was the Defensive Player of the Year. All the awards you're supposed to get, being that guy coming from a Power 5 like LSU, he proved it and showed up. He should be draftable. And Willie Drew, 5'11" corner. For him to be as undersized as he is, as we all know, the NFL market is 6 feet and up. The kid is an absolute stud, has great feet, can go up and get it with the rest of them. So these are some other possibles that that can possibly make a team. And if they don't, a high chance that all these guys are going to find their way on a team undrafted wise because they are talented. What you got, P?
Not much. I think Jarvion Howard, the size, he has what they like about him. Not only can he get out of the backfield, but his pass catching ability. He's great at pass catching. Of course, you look for that in the NFL to be able to dump that ball off real quick to your running back in space. But typically what we see, if there's going to be anybody with a shot, it's always DBs and O-linemen. Have we seen that? That seems to be what we see coming from the HBCU ranks, the DBs and the O-linemen. So Tariq Stewart, man, that's a big man. That's a big specimen.
Yeah.
And you get him in a program, in an organization, and they can go to work with him. I think he has an opportunity too. But I'm with you, man. Eventually, we'll see all these guys get an opportunity, hopefully, because, look, even the guys that you typically think going to get an opportunity and look good to be on the next level, you'll come and see that they've been cut. They don't quite have the measurables to sustain being to make the roster of an NFL team. Some of these guys can probably make a practice squad, but it's tough getting on that roster in the NFL, man.
Yeah. Listen, you can have a nice life living on that practice squad. I know a lot of people who've made good money. Okay, all right, good money living on that practice squad. But those are just a few things few possibles. You know what I'm saying? That might walk across that stage.
And I mean, they like too. I mean, when you look, you like, damn, boy. Like, you looking at you like, bro, are you serious? Like, boy, I got 2, and boy,
all possibles.
Might just go bored here. That's when you look like, bro, you really like handful of reds. I don't know how I'm gonna flip these reds.
Hey, listen, when you like your partner be like, man, I got 1 board. How you mean? About to count this out?
Boy. I got the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6, the 7, and the 8 damn diamond. What I'm supposed to do?
Oh my goodness. Jennings. Are you talking about the running back, Jennings? Yeah, is he talking about the running back, Jennings? Yeah, I don't know if listen, all skilled players have an opportunity to go undrafted. He's not getting drafted, right? I'll tell you that right now. Jennings ain't getting drafted, but definitely look at
and some of these guys may find themselves, what's the new league?
UFL.
UFL. Some of these guys gonna end up in the Canadian Football League. Some of these guys gonna end up in arena football. So I mean, everybody does not make it to the NFL. And for the people that's out there, yes, you want to see your favorite player. The NFL is a hard fraternity of brothers to be a part of, let alone to stick around more than 2 years. That is just truly tough to be a part of that.
Are you saying Zarion Hayes from Alabama A&M? I think he has great tape. If I'll tell you this, if you gave Zarion Hayes, Sundada Anderson's measurables with Zarion Hayes' tape, he's a 5th round draft pick, and it's not even close, right? But Zarion Hayes, his measurables aren't the best at the DN position. I believe he's like 6'1", maybe 6'2". All right. So I wouldn't be surprised if he went undrafted, but he's not a draft pick. You know what I'm saying? You still you gotta understand the James Houstons of the world, they get picked because one, they have Power 5 tape, that they were good. They came down to a lower level, they dominated. And then you have great measurables, like he has really, really long arms. You know what I'm saying? So it's little things like that kind of help you move along and kind of get you in that spotlight to be drafted 4th, 5th, 6th round, stuff like that. So I think Zarion Hayes is a great player, though.
And Scotty, for a lot of these guys, the reality of the world after football, you know, that's the part nobody really talks about. Everybody always, because you were great, you was good, you came from here, you did this, and you played college ball. The reality of it is when the dust settled and it's all said and done, having to then maneuver your way in life to realize football is over. And for a lot of former athletes, particularly, I'm going to just say because we're talking football, it takes years for them to figure themselves out after football, because football has been life. Football has opened all the doors. Football has put them in position. Football has created them opportunities to network. And when it's over, you no longer have football to be able to open that door. You no longer have football to put you in those rooms. It comes down to now what you truly know as a person. I mean, you can tell somebody I'm a former football player, but the way we live in the world today, that lure of being good often gets overlooked in a snap of a finger, because we're in an instant gratification world. What was hot yesterday can be different in 2 days compared to back in the day. We would linger with something, right?
Yeah.
It lingered on. So a lot of these guys within a year or two become forgotten about quick, fast, and in a hurry. And that's a hard part for these guys to figure out what life is like after football, to find their footing in the world. Because a lot of them don't truly know themselves. They don't truly know a talent or anything else that they have aside from football. Now, and that ain't all of them, because you got a lot of guys just academically sound. They got their mind made up on life, but a lot of these cats truly don't, man. They really don't.
No, you're absolutely right. And let me answer this, John. Let me tell you about John Huggins. John Huggins is a draftable player, period. I don't care where he would have played in the SWAC. This is the situation. If he was a backup safety at Auburn, Alabama, any SEC program, he's drafted. Now, I want to, let me just, I'm telling you, and I keep saying this, I saw players last year get drafted being the backup with no stats, like 10 catches, 130 yards, like just something stupid like that. John Huggins, if you take the helmets, if you take the stickers away, if you take the conferences away, that kid is an NFL player, period. No ifs and buts about it. I've always been high on John. If anybody don't believe me, go watch his tape against Campbell, against that 6'6" tight end that he manhandled that boy. Somebody asked me about Ladarius Owens. I think he's a great UFL player. I think he's a perfect fit for the UFL. Undersized running back that has great speed, great vision. I think he's a perfect UFL running back. Let me see if anybody else has anything to ask. Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, so
call in, people. Call in.
Oh, yeah. Call. Listen, we got plenty of time. 518-263-8124. 518-263-8124. Call in. We'll get your calls in right away. But this is my thing. This is the biggest frustration I have when it comes to HBCU and drafting players. A lot of it is just simply they don't want to take the risk of drafting certain players because of what might happen if they fail, right? Like Marquise Bell, that's a bad example, right? Marquise Bell is a bad example, but he was a draftable player, right? John Huggins, Jordan Tolles, these guys are draftable guys. If they played at Maryland, if they played at Purdue, if they played at Rutgers, if they played at SMU, these guys are draftable just based off the helmet sticker. If their helmet sticker was different, they're draftable. Seriously. And nobody would think twice about it. Nobody would look at you sideways. If Jodeco was at LSU, if Jodeco had the same stats he had now at LSU, he is a draftable player. Point blank, period. That's the sad thing about some of the stuff that you see when it comes to HBCU players and not being drafted. They're just that damn good, but the helmet sticker keeps them out of the league. Hey, Rocky, coming to you.
Hey, what's up, man? Hey, it's a great show. Hey, I think what people when you talk about FCS players, period, right?
Yeah.
FCS players to get drafted, they have to have two things, right? They have to have elite production, right? And then they got to at least have the measurables. Because if they don't have both, they rarely get drafted, man. They rarely get drafted at any position, right? There's lots of FCS players in history that have elite production and they still don't get drafted, you know. And then when you brought up a great point, guys that move down and then have elite production, I think that puts them in, you know, elevates them to some degree because it singles them out and it has them go look at they have Power 5 tape they can look at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they got, because like even with James Houston, like when I looked at him a couple years ago, he wasn't rushing like that when he was in Florida. He wasn't. The only thing I could find him playing is like a stand-up linebacker.
Yeah, he was a linebacker.
You know what I mean?
They switched him. Like Deion switched him from a linebacker to a DN.
See, that's okay. So that makes sense. That makes sense. So now he gets to play a position that he didn't play before, and he had elite production, and he already was big, strong, and fast, man. But I just think that's the issue with all FCS players, not just SWAC players, but FCS players. Now, when you talk about was it Marcus Bell, the one that plays for the Cowboys? To me, he looked like an NFL player even on the FCS level because of the force that he played with, if you understand what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Just the level of force that he played with and the way that like when he tackled somebody, they stop right then the moment he touched them. And, you know, playing the game of football, that's rare that you can have a guy that can tackle with that kind of force and soundness. And so, again, and even him, he's not a great cover. He's not a great cover guy. He's still a great tackler, and they had to move him into position. But he's just such a great football player that, you know, like I say, you know, you had to get him. You know, he had to get a chance. Do you think? I think it used to be. What I'm surprised at is there are no receivers in the SWAC that are getting any real look. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm kind of surprised at because it seemed like at one point there were just a ton of really good receivers in the SWAC.
I'm not, because you can't. Okay, let me give you. You know who Tank Dell is, right?
Yeah.
The receiver at Houston. If he does. Yeah. If he did the same thing at Alabama A&M, he doesn't get drafted. He's not a fourth round pick, third or fourth. He's not. He is a under. Listen, it's literally what I have said about, and what I've talked to scouts about is simply this. They say, Scotty, I can't judge that competition because I don't know. I don't know, you know, how bad that player is or how good. I know Florida and South Florida and whoever else you want to call Power 5, Group of 5. I know what they're bringing in. So I know what they have to go against. So when I see him do what he's doing against top level talent, I can say, okay, that translates. But when you go to Alabama A&M and you do it against 5 SWAC teams, it's hard when none of those guys are draftable. If you're telling me I've dogged out 5 SWAC teams, 5 SWAC DBs, and none of those guys are draftable, what did my stock really do? right? So it's a lot of that. That's why it's a very finicky situation when you start looking at when you don't play Power 5 teams, when you don't play Group of 5 teams, when you don't play higher level FCS teams, you can say whatever you want, but don't get mad at the result when your players don't get drafted. It's just it's the name of the game, right? Like it'll be if you were at any job and they wanted to compare you with another group of people, or they want to compare you with a office down the street. Well, this office they got 600 employees. I mean, they got 600 clients. You only got 50. I can't grade you off this. It doesn't make sense. You only got 50 clients. You smoking it. The guy doing 600.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? So it's levels to this, and I think a bit of it is scouts do look at the stickers on the helmet. Let's just keep it a buck. They want to keep their job like anybody else. But at the same time, HBCUs also have to do their due diligence of scheduling top level FCS teams, top level, not really like Group of 5 teams and lower level Power 5s, just to show off that talent. You know what I'm saying? So it just is what it is.
I think there's a couple things when you talk about how but let's be honest though, Scotty. Scouting in the NFL, well, I don't know about it scouting poor, but in the NFL, the draft only accounts for half of the players in the league, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, even with that being said, they're not really, and I hate to say use the term competent, because what is competent when only 50% of drafted picks actually hit anyway? What I'm saying is, I don't think the people that draft the players in the NFL know the players best, because the scouts aren't really drafting the players. It's the GMs and the coaches, NFL coaches, that are making the, GMs and owners and coaches that are making the decisions. And the people who probably know the players the best are the scouts. And I know I'm kind of changing the argument, but the NFL draft is, they, just like the Cowboys, we Cowboys fans. We know the Cowboys draft a lot of players that never play, or they draft a lot of players that never pan out to be anything. And so it's an imperfect science, the draft is. And so I would just think that they would be willing to take a chance on a player that's pretty productive at that level over a player at a Power 5 that barely played or even has any production at all. Like you pointed out, a player that's a backup, or you up here said, a player that's a backup that gets drafted at a school gets drafted versus a player that has plenty of film, plenty of tape at a lower level.
That's crazy to me.
How do they justify that?
That's crazy to me. Yeah, that's just absolutely crazy to me. How you would take a backup player at a Power 5 program over an All-American or all whatever at a HBCU or FC. Just FCS. I don't even got to make it HBCU. Just FCS in general is just outrageous to me, and I never understand it. But yeah. Any last point, Rocky, before I let you go?
No. Hey, I'm good. I just bring that. And I will say this is the last point I'm gonna make. I think in this particular year, there really were no players in the. As soon as I say this, you're gonna point them out. But I can't recall any players with any real elite traits in the SWAC this past year on offense or defense. Like I'm talking about when I mean speed, size, agility, catching ability, or a combination. I didn't see anybody with anything elite.
I think Mikey Victor.
Yeah.
I think it's just Mikey Victor. If I'm being honest, I think Mikey Victor would be my biggest get. But appreciate the call, Rocky. If you're talking about elite just across the board, Mikey Victor's Pro Football Focus is one of the highest for DBs. He's 6'4", 6'3", runs a 4.5, 4.4, right? He's a sub 4.4 guy. Like, you can't ask for anything better than that. And he's 6'3", 6'4". Like, you can't teach that, right? So, and he doesn't get beat a lot. He's a great zone corner and all that type of stuff. So I like it. But let me go back to, I want to say something about, EA said something. He said, so you were wrong about Land. How can I be wrong when I was right? I said Isaiah Land would not get drafted. Tell me what round Isaiah Land went in. Don't worry, I'll wait because he didn't get drafted. I didn't say he can't play in the NFL. I just say I don't think he's draftable. That was just my personal opinion about it. So I left it alone after that. But Perry, how do you feel about the whole scouting and HBCU players being overlooked or not playing up to competition and all those things, all those storylines, as they say?
Can you hear me good? Oh, I think the reality that we have to look at it is our pride and what we look at when it comes to HBCUs. I think often overcast the reality of what the NFL is. And when you said it best, it comes down to film. Scouts, when they come to look, they see who you practicing against, and they're looking and evaluating your league and where you're playing. Unfortunately for the SWAC, typically we're at the bottom when you look at FCS as a whole, when you're looking at the strength of what a conference is, right? And that's just the reality of it. The MEAC has shown traditionally to be higher when you stack them up against other FCS conferences. The reality of it is just because that player is good at your school and has done things in the SWAC, in the grand scheme of football, every year there are hundreds of guys trying to make that 1%. And that 1% is so hard because it ain't even just the guys coming out of that particular year. Think about the guys who've been out of football from college 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah.
And still trying to make a roster. So I think we often get it confused that they just competing against the guys that's coming out of that draft class or coming out of that simulated class. But no, it is guys post-college still trying to get into that 1% that they're going against. There's so much talent to evaluate. There's so much to look at. And because we live in this bubble, once again, of HBCUs, we feel like because we have it on this high pedestal that they should as well. They don't look at us any different than if they're going to look at a Sacramento State, a Youngstown State, a Jackson State, a North Alabama. To them, that's still not Arkansas, LSU, Ohio State, Boise State. Even let's just take like a UL, University of Louisiana Lafayette. It's still a difference. And they're looking at that competition. And we got to understand, I know a lot of people don't like the money games, right? The money games, why are we playing? We just going to get. But somebody on that team can stand out because of that money game.
Absolutely.
That can go get their money because they're going to look at the matchup. They know the whole team when they look at the depth in the roster. Of course, it's not matched to be
a competitive.
You get paid the money for a reason.
Yeah.
But somebody who has that type of capability and talent could stand out in that ball game, and they're looking like shit. Look what he was able to do.
And a perfect example is of just last year is Chance against LSU. Chance had a crazy game against LSU. Chance Williams, now he's at University of Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying? Had a crazy game against LSU.
You know how he probably got to Cincinnati? That
LSU tape alone would have got him to Cincinnati because of just how bad he was doing LSU. He was doing LSU bad. All right, by itself. So we'll see. Let me take some of these callers. We got some callers. 1955 coming to you. Then 8022. You're next. Hey, call you live.
Hey, Scotty.
What's up?
What's up now?
How you doing? Well,
good.
I think a lot of people don't understand is these days it's better to go UDFA. You get to pick what you want, and your money has become better than what it used to be. So if you don't get drafted after like the fourth or fifth round, it's better to go undrafted so you can kind of funnel where you're going at, and the money better nowadays. And I'll kind of take off and listen to where you go from there.
Hey,
Thank you. It's very Miss Scott.
Hey, no problem. Appreciate you. I agree. Listen, I don't think there's nothing wrong with going undrafted. Listen, I don't believe there's nothing wrong with going. Does it hurt your pride a little bit? Absolutely. But can you still make a team? Absolutely.
It just simply come down to everybody been bragging, oh, that boy is good, and then when you don't get drafted, you're not part of that number, but that don't mean the dream is over.
It don't. You better listen. Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant. To me, that's even worse than being undrafted. when you the last pick and you're literally got a jersey call you Mr. Irrelevant. And now look at Brock Purdy, right? It's all about opportunity and availability when it comes to the NFL. And if you make yourself, sometimes the situations don't work out. But listen, you can make a damn good living on a practice squad. I don't give two. You make it hundreds of thousands of dollars to play football. Put me on a practice squad. All right, 80-22 coming to you.
Yo, what's up? What's going on, guys?
What's going on? What's your name? Where you call from?
Yeah, Coach Elliot, man.
What's up,
going
Coach?
on?
What's up, Coach? Talk to me.
Hey, baby, what's happening? And listen, Perry, I want to ask you guys a question because y'all been dealing with some real solid information and asking some really questions that matter. But I'm gonna throw one in the pile tonight. Is anybody paying attention to these people that talk about creating a super league? You got these two, you got Big Ten, then you got SEC. They're talking about their thing. Then you talking about Big 12. Scotty, what's going to happen to us if them people form them super leagues, man? If we don't at least, guys, schedule teams that are close. Okay, think about this, guys. If those teams are already feeling threatened as PWIs for them forming this Super League or SEC and Big 10 and then Big 12, if them people decide to go on another side of the fence, what's going to really happen to us, bro?
Yeah, that's real.
I mean, y'all talk to me, man. I just wanted to, it was something you and Perry was talking about a few weeks ago, and I wanted to get in. But I wanted to throw something in there that, with the conversation y'all having like about our scheduling, I'm right over here by Norfolk State. Norfolk State is over across the street, basically, really from ODU. ODU's playing NC State. They're playing East Carolina. They're playing Vodtech. They're getting ready to schedule UVA. Who is Norfolk State playing to compete? And I'm like, okay, we got guys that are just as good. Y'all brought up the brother at LSU. Scotty, Perry, come on, man. These people getting ready to make a move. Are we paying attention? It is PWI's nervous right now, Scotty. Come on, Perry. They nervous. These people getting ready to leave them, everybody in the dust, man. So what we have to do what you guys are saying right now, man. We're not talking. It ain't gonna destroy our culture. It ain't gonna hurt how schools what we're made of, bro. But I'm telling y'all are right. We've got to get these schedules on point at these HBCUs, bro. Y'all talk to me, man. I'll get on the phone and I'll listen, man. But this conversation is real, man. And we're sleeping on what these people are doing. They're telling us what they're gonna do, Scotty. Perry, come on, man. They're telling us.
Hey, appreciate the call, Coach Elliot. We gonna answer your question. We gonna answer your comment offline. Appreciate you. Hey, listen. I've heard of numerous times. If white people are nervous, black people need to be scared, right? Like, and I saw what JB put. It's not a PWI thing. It is a PWI thing, right? And I'm gonna go back to what Zoe said on numerous occasions. We should have made the jump to FBS. We should have made the jump to the Group of 5 or whatever, because all it does, it just takes you from the minor leagues to the major leagues. That's really all it does. It just it makes your football that much more credible, right? When you're playing against, now to me, I look at it like this, and I'm gonna go back to what Emory Hunt got on here and said. He said, if you consolidated the best HBCUs and moved up to D1 football, that's your best bet, which I 100% agree. I'm not going to oppose to that. I don't have a problem with you insulating and moving up. I do not have a problem. Why? Because you're going to have to schedule out of conference. right? And then you don't go into a conference where you get your head beat in every year, right? You're not moving to the Conference USA or wherever else you want to move to where you're like the bottom of the barrel in your own conference and teams are just beating you down. So I think if PWIs add another layer to what's coming, right? They separate from NCAA or whatever they do with the white powers that be. All it's going to do is just make that next level that much more insignificant. But at the same time, and this is my last thing, I'm gonna let you go, P. What do you care more about? Do you care more about media and money, or do you care about the value of football? Because me, I can rock with you either way. At the end of the day, if you just want to consolidate and get the media money off your culture and your sports and your band, I don't got no problem with that. And the NFL will come find whoever they want to come find. That's fine with that. If you want to be relevant football-wise and you want to move up in a division and make that work for you, I'm cool with that as well. So it don't really mind me. It don't make me no never mind, as my grandma would say. But what you got, P?
I don't know how much truly, if a power conference was to form, when it trickles down to the FCS level, how much it'll truly affect FCS. And we just talk particularly football, because outside of football, when we consider FCS, everybody else has an opportunity to compete for a national championship, right? Literally. I've always thought, and I use my point of view when I look at Southern University. I think Southern is sitting on potentially mid-major group of 5 opportunity, but not realizing its potential. When you have a fan base that can fill up a stadium, that will travel, and you got a brand along with your band that no matter where you go, people are going to show up to see your brand, your band. And if you have a good football, just imagine if we had a group of 5 football team that can match that, right? Where we can go play a Southern Miss and walk out of there with a victory, right? We can go play a ULM or a Louisiana Tech and walk out of there with the victory. And you got a swag along with a band. It just takes you so much further.
It's different.
And people talk about, well, the SWAC games, people not going to show up. Let's be honest. Who's showing up when Prairie View, and this is no knock, but who's showing up to the average games that aren't the classics or the rivals, right? Who's showing up?
Yeah.
Alcorn, are y'all showing up when Bethune-Cookman come to town?
Negative.
Right? Bama State, are you showing up deep in your stadium when Texas Southern comes to town? UAPB, when Alabama come to town, are you showing up to pack the stadium out? And I would say the same thing with Southern fans, because Southern fans love the big games. But, I wouldn't be opposed to losing the SWAC to move up, because you know what? Let's just say, hypothetically, I'm in the Sun Belt, right? I got UL right up the road. What a hell of a rivalry that'll be to have an in-state rivalry with UL. And they go. Do you know how many people will show, especially if UL is a top 25 team?
Yeah.
I'm just using hypothetically.
No, I got you. We rolling with you. We rolling with you.
But I can then welcome in not just some swag team, but now I got a top 25 team at my stadium this weekend.
And it's a competitive game. It ain't. It's a competitive game, right? And I think when you go up levels in football, the football starts to matter a little bit more. I'm not saying they travel like HBCU fans. I'm not saying they come in attendance like, I get it. But the football does matter to PWI fans. It does, right? It does. At certain schools, you know what I'm saying? So, and let me say this, because this is the stuff I see and it gets dumb. What Power 5 conference will pick up an HBCU with a mission rate of 2.0? You know who has a mission rate of 2.0? West Virginia. You know who else has because I applied, so I know Marshall. Like, they not Power 5, but I know for a fact Marshall got a 2.0. So what are we talking about right now?
It's always to tell you an excuse on what you can't do before you say, you know what? Maybe it's something we can do with that.
What are we talking about right now? Right? Because education has never been the problem at HBCU. So you can miss me with that. right? But there's a lot of Power 5 programs that take 2.0s, and Alabama is one of them. Okay? So, you miss me with the Power 5 2.0 shit.
And it's going to take a huge commitment from a school, and it's just a few that can do it.
Yeah.
Jackson, the FAMU, the Southern. I mean, FAMU already tried it in the early 2000s. It just didn't seem to be the right time. But I mean, there's a few that can do it, right? Because of the fan base, they can hold the attendance that's needed, and they have the brand that can grow along with that. Notable bands. These are things that I just think, and then it boosts you up for all the other sports, because at the end of the day, you really can compete for a national championship in every sport. We just gotten so used to just thinking about, because we feel like we can't compete no further than conference championship.
Yeah.
So once we get conference championship and we get invited to the tournaments where everybody else at, we kind of already got our hands thrown up like, yeah, I don't even see second round. Shit. All right. You know, you go to a regional in baseball, you're not even looking to talk about a super regional. It's just not in your mind.
Yeah.
You know, the same way with the NCAA basketball tournament. The second round is on nobody's mind. Right? That's because we have to change our mindset to take that serious, to say that can possibly be us.
Yeah.
Instead of just being happy to be there. Right? The same way with football. It'll take a collective, it'll take a huge push to talk about getting outside of your comfort zone, and then guess what? Get them people out the way that don't know how to do it. And bring in the people that do know how to do it. And grow your brand. Trust me, there's a benefit to it. A lot of teams not jumping from FCS to FBS for no reason. They see the money. They know where things are going. You see more teams, and that's why they had to put a cap. Say, you know what? Hey, y'all jumping up so much. And these teams in short years, UL was nothing in football. They put in millions of dollars and went and found money in network. Now, look, I don't care how the white folks did it. They found a way to do it.
Yeah.
Right? We got to knock on doors. But see, we like to brag amongst each other about who got the best of nothing. Right? That's what we like to do. We like to all brag about each other. That we got the best of nothing. And I just think, well, and I'm speaking for me in terms of Southern. I've always said Southern has not even begun to scratch the surface of what it could be, because when I look at it, I just see, me personally, with my mind and being a Southern grad, I just see dollar signs everywhere that's just untapped. I see a brand that is not even remotely reaching its full potential. I see a brand that's just doing what it's always been. And it's so much more to it. And it can be so much more. Southern has, and this is for me, and even with Jackson State.
Yeah.
Even with FAMU. Those are brands that I just see. And if Alabama State could figure it out.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
If they can just remotely figure it out. There are some brands that if they can figure it out and get the money, get the right people that are visionaries, because trust me, you got a lot of these little schools, and yeah, you're going to say they white, they just come like these Tarleton States and everybody else that's just coming out of the ashes, and you will swear they've been playing football for 100 years.
They started their program 5 years ago.
And I'm talking about whooping and whoop our ass. And then we're looking like, well, we've been playing football for 100 years. How this school come out the ashes in 5 years? You know, and regardless of the facilities, what are they doing differently when it comes to the coaching and the players that they bringing in?
Yeah.
That they can find. North Dakota State was a Division II program.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, you know, it is what it is. I'm just saying, and for me, this is the Southern talking. People can do it. You call in for whatever your school. I just think we really have a brand that can be a notable group of 5 team. I think we have a notable program that can be a legit mid-major basketball program.
You know,
we definitely have a program that can be notable mid-major baseball program.
You know what's crazy? The Kennesaw, if I'm not mistaken, somebody told me the Kennesaw State athletic AD was a former assistant AD or something at Prairie View, and she was up for the job at Prairie View, didn't get it, went to Kennesaw State, and she was a part of the process of them moving up. So it's like that's the stuff that be making me mad. Like it's like somebody that it's when your own people can't see your value, and then here comes the white school. Hey, come on, bring it over here. And then they have this plan. They put a plan together she puts the plan together for them to move up to Division I. That's just word on the street. But let me say this, and I'm gonna keep bringing up what Zoe said a while back on HBCU Live when he came on. He said our opportunity to make the jump was before they raised the fee. Before everybody, but Zoe said it so perfectly. He said everybody would talk about why we can't make the jump. Then you find out it was $15,000 to make the jump.
Now how much? It's like $5 million.
$1 million.
And you saw everybody making the jump while they could. Jacksonville State, Sam Houston State, Coastal Carolina got through the door. Appalachian State, Georgia Southern, James Madison. I mean, some of these schools got big money. Don't get me wrong, but if it's $15,000, they don't have no problem with a discount.
No problem at all. No problem at all. So it's little things like that. But let me take this call. They've been waiting for a while. 3475 coming to you.
What's going on, Scotty? It's Ricardo in Atlanta.
Talk to me.
I'm trying to figure out what y'all trying to talk about. Because what you're saying, I mean, moving up, what does moving up mean? Doesn't mean nothing. Are you making money? Maybe, maybe not. The SWAC, the MEAC, they can make money where they are. I go back. Okay, there was what was it? It was about 2 years ago. There was a team out of it was either New Mexico or New Mexico State. They played in the Arizona Bowl. And do you know what Coach said his goal was when he left from New Mexico to go to Arizona? All he wanted to do was break even. So what does moving up mean? Doesn't mean anything because you're not making money. You're not really getting notoriety. Another thing was you saying about scheduling games. I went to Jackson State.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And the thing that always,
I said, I'm sorry to hear that, but go ahead.
Well, I would say F you, but I'm not going to do it. The thing that you have with the teams that are in your region that you want to play is, I don't know, maybe Perry can remember this, but this is what I remember. None of those schools wanted to come to our stadiums. We always had to go to Lamar, or we had to go to the Southeast, or we had to go to whatever school that it was. They weren't coming to us. Tennessee State did this, 20, 30 years ago. They moved to a white conference. What did they get? I'm listening.
I didn't know if you were asking a question. Like, listen, I don't know. I don't know if older people have a hard time understanding if you're asking a question or saying a statement. So
we don't.
No, I'm just saying because you didn't ask a question. Like you just made a statement, and I'm just trying to figure out when we gonna interject or when you want us to not interject. So I don't.
I've been waiting on you.
Well, I would say this because you say, what would it do for us? And this conversation started because we were talking about getting guys drafted. How do we get that type of talent to HBCUs when we're talking about the film? Think about how many kids when we look at that could be at HBCUs going to a Jackson State and Southern, FAMU, and whoever else. But guess where they go? To a ULM. Guess where they go? To a UTSA. Guess where they go? To an Arkansas State. And you look at that kid and like, bro, you can come to the to the SWAC and you can shine. But you rather go and be at Bowling Green, right? It matters because he's at Bowling Green because he knows, regardless of the fact of how good that program is, they're going to be against certain competition. The bar is just a little bit different. Regardless if it's the MAC, if you don't put respect on the MAC could damn near probably whoop everybody in the SWAC. The same way the Sun Belt.
And what do you call that? You call it propaganda.
I call that football.
No, that's propaganda.
How is
they tell you? You talked a little earlier about measurables. You talk about players who should have gotten drafted and didn't get drafted because they were at an HBCU. Let me tell you something, Scott. I remember a couple of weeks ago you was talking about something about shirts, and you said you bought a shirt at a store because it was a good shirt. It wasn't the shirt, it was the fabric. And it's the same thing with football. It's what it's made of. Y'all look more at the name because you can put any name inside. Like you said, it's what's on side of the helmet. It ain't what the guy got. It's what's on side of the helmet. And that's what you're getting now. You're getting propagandized.
No,
you're not looking at what.
Sir, there's a difference between a propaganda and a system, right? Like you can say, "Oh, this is a propaganda," but when you look at the lay of the land, it's the system in which you're in. So you can't blatantly go blind to the system that you see when I can tell you that a backup player who didn't have production, and I don't even want to say HBCU, I'll say FCS players, because there are better FCS players at South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana State that get overlooked because they do not play at a Clemson, because they don't play at a North Carolina. That is not a propaganda. That is a system that.
Well, that's what you call it,
sir. How, sir? Let me get this straight. How can it be propaganda when there's studies and data that shows you that it's true? That doesn't make any sense. It's not propaganda. It's a fact.
Scotty, let me tell you something. You talking about a fact. What you trying to tell me, there are numbers that say that. When I came along, there was an old saying.
When was that? When was that? Say your year. Say your year. Say your year. Say the year you talking about.
80, I mean, you can take any year from
80, 89, 87, 76.
Yeah, you can go 85, 70, whatever you want.
Okay.
What I'm telling you, there was a saying. I'm gonna say in the mid 80s, there was a saying that went something like this: with a sharp pencil and a good eraser, I can make a number do anything.
I would say this. I think the idea that in Grambling, you saw make this move with their deal, what they did with their media deal. Although we all want to be the same, and we often find this out because we see it all the time. All HBCUs aren't the same, and that's even in the SWAC. So should I hold my brand up just to stick around with everybody else? Yeah, you my boy. Yeah, we as a conference, but should I hold up my growth for you? And that's an honest question.
I mean, isn't that what all the other conferences are doing? They not holding the bomb.
Moving around.
They ain't kicked Vanderbilt out of the SEC. They ain't kicked Northwestern out of the Big Ten.
Why would they move around when that conference that they in is already giving them millions of dollars? And you thinking about Vanderbilt football? How about Vanderbilt baseball?
Vanderbilt baseball is good.
So
you don't make no money.
Let's talk about the Pac-12. What happened to that?
What happened to it? They weren't chasing the dollar. They didn't stand on what they were.
So everybody's not going to sit around.
So let me get this straight. So you'll go to the most premier football conference, but then you'll negate all other conferences that are essentially breaking down and people jumping ship out of their conferences to go to another conference. And say, but you'll pick the SEC and say they're not leaving. Why the hell would they when they're the number one brand of football? That's like me wanting to leave ESPN and go work for HBCU Go. That doesn't make sense. Why would I do that? I'm at the top level of my industry.
And the SEC is running gymnastics, is running baseball, basketball, football. The brand is elite, and people are tuning into it. But to what I'm saying is what you're seeing out of the Pac-12. It's what you're seeing happening with the ACC, where they're looking around at everybody else and saying, why should I hold up for you to get your stuff together when I feel like I'm ready to go? I'm ready to make a move and get to another place, but you want me to sit around and wait on you, which is totally why Texas and Oklahoma left the Big 12 to come to the SEC, which is totally why you see USC and UCLA and is it Oregon? They all moved because they looked at everybody else like Arizona. All right, what you gonna do? Oh, well, we not ready. Say less. Arizona State, what you gonna do? Oh, we not ready. Say less. And it's like, why hold up what I got going in the potential that I can have for you? And that's what I think we've been doing for a long time, sticking together. And look, it ain't nothing wrong with it. I understand. It's a black thing. It's an HBCU thing. But in the 80s, I feel it. In the 90s, the 70s, the 60s, we starting to turn into a money thing. Now, I'm not saying sell out what we doing, because you can still keep your culture. You still who you are. That ain't gonna never change. You still have a mission. You still can follow that mission. But at some point, you got to be able to think, is the sky the limit for me, or I'm just supposed to hit this plane and just stay at this same level all time?
Let me ask you this, sir. What would be your recommendation? Just because you came on here and said we're not making any money. So my thing is, okay, you've seen this thing for years and decades on decades on decades. What would be your recommendation of just if we decided to stay where we're at currently, what would be your recommendation for the improvement of SWAC or MEAC?
The improvement of SWAC comes down to what it's always been. Why is Alabama good? Why are Texas good? Why is Ohio State good? They get the players. It's not the school, it's the players. When we were good in the 60s and 70s and the 80s, because what? We kept the white man ice is colder, so I got to go to Alabama. I got to go to Texas. I got to go to Ohio State. No, you don't.
Sir.
You don't.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir.
Yeah.
The white man's ice is better. Have you seen those facilities?
No, his money is deeper. He got money.
His facilities. Go ahead.
Look, listen. Hey, if you had Shedeur Sanders at Jackson State. If Shedeur had stayed at Jackson State, he probably would have threw for 4,000 yards last year. He probably would come back next year and throw for 5,000 yards.
And wouldn't have been a first round pick. It still would not have been.
Why not? Where's his talent at? Has his talent diminished because he's at Jackson State? No, sir. His talent is the same.
He would not have. Go ahead.
What I'm saying is what we in the beginning. It was the whole point of saying moving up to a group of 5 and getting that opportunity. We're losing talent. We're not even in the same category when you talked about the Alabamas and all of them. We're in the category you talking about the smaller group of 5s, just the Southern Miss. If you Jackson State, wouldn't you like to get one of them O-linemen going to Southern Miss? Have you seen Southern Miss O-line? Have you seen their receivers? Have you seen the size that they
down in Hattiesburg
in Louisiana? Wouldn't I like to get a kid that's supposed to be going to Tulane and say, I'm coming? And we praise those teams when the kid comes from there to come to our HBCU, because we put a lot of respect on him to say why he's here is where he came from. So it's when do you pick and choose what's good and what's not good? Because when you get a transfer, you put all praises to Allah up high for who that kid is and where he come from. Oh, he was a former 4-star coming from Florida State. Don't you praise Florida State? When the kid comes from Tennessee, don't you praise Tennessee to say,
you
man,
keep saying these things about these people coming down. We've always had that. They could always have that.
We don't have that.
Didn't do anything.
We let the game pass us by.
For FCS teams and players. Nothing. It did it for the FBS teams. You couldn't go to from FBS to FBS. It would be hard. But if you wanted to come down to FCS or 1AA or whatever you want, or Division II, there was no problem. So the portal didn't change anything for black colleges or smaller schools.
Sir,
nothing.
Let me ask you. I just need you to understand the question that I'm asking you. Right? How are you going to get?
Okay.
How are you said it's the players, right? Now let me. I'm gonna lay it out for you because you went to Jackson State, so I'm trying to make sure you understand what I'm saying to you, right? If you have programs that can offer $3,000-$4,000 a month in our collective, if you have programs that can offer you a car, your own apartment, all these amenities, how are HBCUs supposed to compete for said players? That's what I'm needing to ask you, because you keep saying it's propaganda, but this is a real life scenario. So I'm asking you, how does HBCU? Because you said get players, right? You said it's all about the talent. So how do they go get this?
That's what everything's about.
So how do you go get the talent? That's what I'm asking you.
All you have to do what you have to do. I mean, you have to go. There was a period where you didn't even the top, say, what you call them, 5 stars, 4 stars. You didn't even go visit them. Now you're starting to go visit them. So every now and then you're going to get 1 this year, 2 this year, 3 next year. You're going to do, and as time goes on, it's going to get better and it's going to get better. If you think it's going to turn overnight, no, sir. It's not.
Days are over with, bro.
We've been brainwashed for years. What was the thing that they told us when we were come getting out of high school? Go to a good school and get a good education. Did they ever give you a definition of a good education?
Sir, come on, man. Listen, I know mentally you're probably still like in the 80s and the golden era of HBCU football, but you have to catch up with the time and understand kids are wanting payment for their value.
And let's simply talk about this,
We're
talking about black
I'm gonna be
kids,
mad
right?
with
That's what we're talking about.
I'm not mad.
But
we're talking about
what you want to do, then you do it.
I'm not saying that you're saying it's bad. What I'm saying is you're telling us that that HBCUs have to get the talent. And I'm telling you what HBCUs are up against when trying to go get said talent. So my thing is this: if people look at your football on a lower level and it's like all we're suggesting is making the jump, because when you first came on here, you said we're not making money. We're not.
What are you jumping to?
You're jumping to the next level, which will be Group of 5.
You elevating your program.
What's so great about the group? What's so great about the Group of 5?
It's a level of football that you're not on.
No, sir, I'm not. It's not my question. What's so great about it?
Sir, let me ask you this. Let me answer your question.
Well, ask this simple question. When was the last time a SWAC school beat a Group of 5 school in football?
When was the last time Jackson State beat a Group of 5 team? Campbell. I'll give you.
We never have.
Campbell not a Group of 5. Campbell is MCS.
Can't even give you Campbell. So when's the last time Jackson State has beat a Group of 5?
Never. Just said that. Never.
So go ahead, Perry. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Perry.
My whole point was there's another level to go in. Right? If you've never done something,
okay. You go. So what is it that you have gained? That's when. Okay, you go to Group of 5. You're in the Sun Belt or the
Conference USA,
Southland, or whatever. So tell me what's so great about going to Southern Miss? What's so great about being at Louisiana Tech or Louisiana Lafayette?
They have upgraded their facilities. They found ways to give players the incentives to come there. On top of those conferences, you're getting those multiple bowl games, right? We got one bowl game, Celebration Bowl, that we love near.
We got one, and we make more money than any of the bowl games other than them, probably the top 10. Our payout is better than theirs.
How much is the payout for the Celebration Bowl?
They get over $1 million each.
For the conference?
All bowl games get paid to the Texas.
Huh? I'm saying, how much do they pay out for the conference and for the team when you come out of the Celebration Bowl?
They take care of all the expenses. That's mine. I think I saw it, but the conferences get over $1 million each.
Okay. So
now, other than the New Year's Bowl games, ain't nobody making no money. Ain't nobody getting nothing. Ain't nobody getting no million nothing.
Okay, let me help you out. The Celebration Bowl pays out $2 million. $1 million for the MEAC, $1 million for the SWAC. Right. Now, a percentage of that goes, a high percent, like I think like 60 or 70% of that goes to the actual school, and then the rest gets divvied out, between the whole conference as a whole, right? So as a payout. So that answers your question. The
point of all of this is we're talking about the level of competition. And I think you're missing this point that if you want to increase your competition, your level of competition in which you're able to compete, you have to elevate your program. And that's all we simply saying. You're saying propaganda, what we're going to get out of it. Right now, what we're doing is we're losing players that used to choose the HBCUs in your time. Those kids that used to come to Southern and Grambling are going to the La Techs and the ULMs and the ULs, and you scratch your head wondering, like, why is that kid going there when he can go to Southern and Grambling?
Propaganda. I told you that earlier, because they are told that, hey, this is where you go to get a good education.
That's not,
which is BS.
Listen, man, that's not,
and they ain't going no league.
That's not that's not the situation. You're pushing a propaganda. That is not, this is where you
really?
Yes. Most kids are not picking Western Kentucky over an HBCU because you get a better education. They're picking Western Kentucky because they're getting paid $3,000 a month for NIL money. That's why they're picking them, because they got a whole dorm room for themselves with a shower, and they got an indoor practice facility, and they got a jacuzzi tub, and they got a zero air gravity training facility. That's why they're choosing Western Kentucky, Troy, Southern Miss. They're not choosing it because it's a better education. That's not what it is. Because if we put out the stats, Mr. Propaganda, we can show you where HBCUs lap them in education. So miss me with that. It is when you're talking sports, I know in your day and age, y'all had the cotton roll neck t-shirt. Y'all was putting icy hot on you didn't know what a trainer looked like. It's different nowadays. Nowadays, you're walking into rooms where there's tubs and tables and training tables. Most HBCU schools didn't even have training tables. And you're asking high-level athletes to put their life and body on the line when you can't even do your due diligence of having trainers and training tables and the proper equipment to care for said athlete. This is not the 70s. This is not the 80s where that stuff is going to slide, and just because we black, we're going to do it. That's not what it is nowadays, sir. Nowadays, people want their value and what they feel they're going to bring to your school, if they stay or if they leave. That just is what it is. So it's a pay to play atmosphere now. So you either can get on board with that or you can get off. The only propaganda that is being spewed on this phone line is you talking about better education and we just got to get the players, and you're missing all the nuances in between. There's so much nuance in this conversation, and the only thing you want to criticize us about, why are we going up a level? Why are we making this jump? Let me ask you this. How much money are you making now? How much money are HBCUs making now? Are they breaking even now?
Yeah.
They are.
Most are. Except the ones, I'm going to tell you, I've had this conversation with you before. If you do not have at least 20,000 seat stadium, then you don't make money in athletics. You don't.
Okay.
Look at it. How you going to make money? You're not going to be able to pay for the athletes. What's going to pay for? You're going to raise your student fees. But, it's like you said, we're going to give you some money, so you come on down here. And
that's how most jobs work.
I like you to,
that's how most jobs work. That's how most jobs work, sir. I bet you ain't worked at the same job you had for 40 years without getting a pay raise. Am I correct? That's how jobs work.
Everybody gets a pay raise. What do you get?
That's how life works. See, you older folk don't think that college is a job. When I sign up my services and put my body on the line, I look at student athletes as employees. I'm just keeping it a buck with you. When you put your body on the line for an institution, that to me, that is a job. So yes, I want to get paid for my services. Yes, I want to get the best facilities. Yes, I want to eat great food. I want to. Just because you didn't get it don't mean I shouldn't get it. That's not how this works. So no, you didn't work at the same job you had for 20 years and never got a pay raise. And when you left one job to go to another job, it was either for a better situation, a better opportunity, or better pay. So miss me with this fact of the notion of we should just stay to. No, that's not how life works. And the quicker you guys understand that, the quicker you can play the game that's in front of you. My mom used to tell me this all the time in the military. The game does not change, just the players in it, right? The military is going to keep doing what it's doing. College athletics is going to keep moving forward. You either got to get with it or get off. Appreciate the call, though. Thank you, sir. So, listen. I try to respect my elders, and I did the best I can. But what I'm saying is listen. The one thing we got to understand is that in this day and age, life is going forward. And we have to keep moving forward. The problem that I've seen in a lot of HBCUs is the same thing that goes on in the military. I swear to God, we see it all the time. Everybody in the real world on Windows 10, everybody in the military on Windows XP. Like literally, I'm telling you, that is anybody who's been in the military can tell you this. If the civilian sector has it, the military is two things behind it. And that is what HBCUs are. HBCUs are on Windows XP and everybody on Windows 10. And you're catching up in a slow way. And then when you finally decide to get on Windows 10, everybody gonna be on Windows 2030. And you're always going to be behind the 8 ball. You guys something to say, Perry, before I take this next caller?
I agree with you. You know, and it's this stuck together thing, you know, black, right? Trust me. Ain't nobody forgot that. Ain't nobody, you know, do we have this same problem with A&T? I think, you know, in Hampton and Tennessee State. Yeah. It didn't change who they are. They would have they playing white schools. Yeah. They still black, ain't it? Yeah. Still a HBCU. They still having homecomings. They still have the culture. Yeah. Did anything change with A&T, Hampton, and Tennessee State besides us just being mad we don't get to play them all the time with the rest of us? Other than that, what changed about them? They still a HBCU. The mission is still the same. Other than losing, it can't losing like a losing bad, but they still HBCU. We just mad because we not in the conference. They don't get to play us all the time no more. That's it. All I'm saying, moving around, do what you do, not gonna change who you are, who you was born to be as an HBCU with your mission. It's just all HBCUs not the same. Some HBCUs can make a move and do something greater for themselves, and it's okay if I leave y'all behind. It's okay. It's okay if Southern moves up in Valley and Alabama A&M and Texas Southern sitting there. It's okay. It's all right. You gonna be okay. Didn't we do that with the Texas schools that was initially in the SWAC? Yeah. The Wiley colleges, what's the Paul Quinns? Didn't we leave them? We left them, didn't we? We moved on. It's okay. If I have the potential, they say wise man once said, if you want to know where you're going to be in 5 years, look at your 5 closest friends. If you want to know where you're going to be in 5 years, look at your 5 closest friends. Look at what y'all doing together every day. Look at what y'all breeding together when you talk about conversation and what y'all doing, where y'all going, how y'all conduct yourselves. If you were a dog and the go-getter, most likely you got to keep up. You're going to be a dog and the go-getter. Yeah. Or you're going to get left behind. It's very simple. Which is why don't people leave the hood? You got your friends that, hey, they're my friends my whole life. I know they mamas, they daddies, but they say in life sometimes you outgrow people. You outgrow family as well. You just move on. And it's okay. It's no love lost. The same way here. Until we get that, it's okay if I move on. It's no love lost. You gonna be straight. You survived this long. You ain't going nowhere. It's just minus me.
You gotta have a little money to live out here. Got to have it. Now, I know what you're thinking. I was the one back in the day always talking about I love the hood. I love the ghetto. I was the one said I wasn't the kind of nigga make a little money and run to the suburbs. Yeah, you're right. That's what I said. But as soon as I got my check, I was gone.
As soon as I got my check, I was gone.
Simple as that, man. There's some schools out here with some potential. Like I say, I'm gonna use my alma mater. I'm gonna use Southern. Southern got all the potential in the world. A lot of Jaguar fans don't like the idea of all this, you know, because they still stuck like that guy. Yeah. And I understand that's just a pride of what you built. That's a generational thing. Yeah. It's a new generation. It's a new way of thinking. The 80s, we were on top. Yeah.
90s too. 90s too.
The 90s. The 70s, I get the type of talent we was getting, right? It was a whole different day and age. It was a whole nother world. And today, in 2024, they come to us just to leave to go to a Nevada. And you're like, why the hell is he going to Nevada? Why did he leave here to go to Western Kentucky? The opportunity. An opportunity presents itself in many different ways. Stop being so narrow-minded in what you think opportunity looks like, because it does not fit your narrative.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, our narrative is HBCUs and being able to, we're never going to change that. Regardless of what room, because it doesn't change us now, regardless of what rooms a lot of us probably going to work for white folks every day with an HBCU education. Does that change anything?
Nope.
You still an HBCU grad, and when you walk in there, you walk up with your head high and you tell them where you graduated from, just for them to be like, where is that at? I've never heard of that school. Where is that? Then you make sure with some sass and some aggression, hell yeah, you don't know about Southern or Jackson or FAMU or UAP. How you don't know?
Yeah.
Then you educate them. So what's going to change? If I move up, I'm going to educate everybody when I play their ass, right? And it's going to be even better when I win so they know who I am. We got the potential. Southern baseball just beat LSU. Jackson State. Then they beat Arkansas.
Alabama State just beat Auburn.
I'm talking about basketball. Jackson State,
Oh.
you know. We're getting victories, right?
Yeah.
Pac-12, SEC, and it don't matter the sport except football.
I
So
know.
we got what?
No, I know. Like, dang, like we beating them everywhere else, but on the football field.
We beat them. So it's there. It's just now you just need that little bit more uplift, that little bit more, but it's a scary leap because we all so used to doing it together. We don't know how to take that opportunity as an individual. Being an individual in this arena is scary. That's why you got a lot of people who's scared of making moves, who's scared of these different new ideas that we bring to the table because it's scary. Because guess what? They're scared to fail. In life, that's failure makes you better. How you think you get good at sports? You got to fail. Nobody goes out and good every play. You fail. Quarterbacks throwing an interception, that's a failure on that play. What they say, shake that off, next play. You fumble the ball, shake that off, next play. You drop a pop fly, shake that off, next play.
You fumble the ball, I will break my foot off in your John hind parts, and then you will run them out. I'm sorry.
And you're going to live to fight another day.
Yeah.
Failure is a part of life. We can't be afraid to step out and try something. If it does not work, guess what? The SWAC always sitting there like, hey, come on home. Hey, you know I love you. Where you been at? Come on back. The SWAC never going to turn its back on nobody.
Nope.
If we decide to leave and give it a try, they're going to always be right there, open arms. Just like I bet they're going to be open arms with A&T and Hampton. If either one of them decide, hey, can we come back? Sure. Been waiting on you. Got some hot pie on the kitchen table. Go get you a slice. Just like you remember, huh? I know how you like, just like you remember. Come on back in here.
You want some milk with that?
Hey. Savannah State tried it. They jumped up and tried the MEAC and it didn't work. Then they went on back where they came from.
Yeah.
It's okay to try it. That's all I'm saying. But I just think you got some programs out here, and I'll leave it at that have the possibility. They just haven't scratched the surface, man. And if you look at potential, and maybe everybody don't have the vision that I have or that you see when I'm talking about potential.
I'll say this is my issue. And JB, I promise you I'm going to get to you. I'm going to say this point. I'm going to answer your phone call. This is my thing. I can no Diddy. I can play on both sides of the fence, right? If you don't really care about the football level, but you just want to make money, I'm cool with that, right? But then just be innovative in where you're at. That's my only issue is like, you can't have it both ways. You can't be stagnant in innovation in how you're promoting your product, and then be stagnant on and be bullheaded to not move. So to me, you're not winning on either aspect. That is my issue. I am A-okay if HBCU say, you know what? We're good. The NFL's, we're going to get a couple guys here and there that go play. We're okay with that. We just want to have a good time, promote our product, and get all the money we can. I'm Gucci with that. I really am, because at the end of the day, football is for entertainment. So I'm cool.
But that's not what's happening.
That's not. It's not. So it's like you're not grooming your garden. You're not cultivating your garden where you're at. Nor are you looking to be inspired about where you can go. So it's just like you're just sitting there hoping that everything's going to tend to itself and stuff is dying around you. And you're like, it's okay. You know, it always does that. It always comes back and dies. It comes back and dies. It just doesn't make any sense. And I'm going to say this I'm going to answer this one before I go to JB. He said the Pentagon weapon systems is the best in the world. Well, that's what the military focuses on, right? The military, see, my mom used to always say, what you show focus on and pride in is going to show, right? So if you care about your appearance, you're going to look a certain way. If you care about your hair is going to look a certain way. If you care about your work is going to look a certain way. So if you care about the weapons and the military and the guns that you have, it's going to look a certain way. That's why when you look at the SWAC, the only thing you can tell that it cares about is what the stuff that actually is vibrant, the band, the tailgating. That's the stuff that's vibrant. That's vibrant. It's just live. Oh yeah. But everything else is like it's either just like hum ho or it's dying, and it's just like this is what you're doing, right? Go ahead.
And I'm gonna say this clearly: as much as we don't want the white man's ice to be colder, we don't put that same excitement. And I'm gonna tell you, just from the SWAC social media, right? I haven't seen them post no baseball shit when I'm talking about videos, right? Stuff from games. But when Southern beat LSU, you know what? Because you put something on LSU name to have made it worth something. And you wanted to tell everybody this is what it was. And what did it do? If you in the Southern Circle, you should have saw the excitement that it created because we beat who? LSU. So imagine if you got a program and you move up and you start making those victories more and more and more against teams that people thought was going to count you out. That's how you build your brand. And clearly we already put something on it because we make sure we loud about it. Hey, you know we beat that white school, don't you? When it does happen.
Yeah.
We put so much emphasis on that. And we'll bark and holler about that more than we'll talk about our regular conference game.
You're right. We talking about that for at least about 3 days. You done played 2 other games, but you still talking about the LSU game. Yeah, you're right.
Still talking about it. So it's much. That's what I'm saying. It's a confused state of mind because people will try to act like, no, we don't care about what they do. But you do. You care about when they players transfer from those schools and come to your school because you got plenty of respect that you heard. Oh, he came from Tennessee. He's supposed to be an immediate impact because guess what? You giving Tennessee the respect enough to think that he left there and may not have even played it down.
Yeah.
You just happy because they said he came from Tennessee. That's the respect you putting on him.
And it's plenty of players like that with no stats that get in the portal, go HBCU. Oh, man, you see this kid we got? Oh, man, he did. And I go back and look. I said, the kid don't got no tape. He got nothing but practice footage on his huddle.
But he came from Tennessee. But I thought the ice ain't colder, though, right? When you go beat them, you're going to brag and boast about that more than you just going to beat your average conference folk. Everybody not sharing that 24/7 because you won a weekend series. So it's you picking and choosing when you want to glorify something, then when you want to say F them.
Yeah. Let me take this callers real quick. JB, coming to you.
Gentlemen, how are you guys doing?
What's up, Jay?
First of all, I want to apologize for the headaches you guys are probably having right now from that previous caller. So I'm going to try not to give you guys a headache and whatnot. Okay, first of all, he's speaking about what happened back in the day. First of all, the time he was mentioning was one. I don't think integration had taken place as of yet. So obviously, all of the black players were coming to black schools. That's number one. Number two, we're talking about propaganda. Now, Scott, I live in Texas. when you have some of these Texas high school facilities looking better than a lot of our other HBC facilities are, or those people who live in Florida, IMG, those kind of places, is a kid who's probably played in facilities like that, that mirrors a lot of other like mid-major or like group of 5 universities. Are they going to want to go to a HBCU to play sports? Probably not, because like you guys said, facilities matter. And I think that people keep talking about the whole pride thing and whatnot. Okay, guys, look, the pride thing matters to us because we're in the space. And Perry hit on this earlier. Today's kids don't care. That's just how it is. They don't care about that anymore. Because we're an HBCU, because I was back in the day, kids are not choosing our schools no more for that reason. And quite frankly, that previous caller, and I heard people in the chat saying the exact same thing. And if folks, let me know if I'm wrong when I say this. That caller sounds like a lot of our HBCU leadership
Facts.
And HBCU fan base.
Facts.
That is how a lot of them think. That is how a lot of them communicate. They're still stuck on what happened 40, 50 years ago. Times are different now. People say, okay, well, we want to bring people in and whatnot, we're going to move up, etc. Okay, how about we raise our athletic budgets first? Let's start doing those things before we start entertaining, bringing anybody, I guess, I'll bring any kind of top players. And then one thing that caused that previous guy mentioned, which really kind of pisses me off, when people say, okay, well, we're going to bring these guys in. Okay, you bring these guys in. Do we have the infrastructure to support all the 4- and 5-star athletes that are going to be coming our way? Do we have the facilities that someone like, say, like an Auburn or a Michigan would have that will make them choose us? Asking people to make sacrifices, today's generation is not doing that. And quite frankly, they shouldn't have to. And for us to expect them to do that, I think is the height of stupidity and arrogance.
I mean, I just simply look at Colorado, what they showed you what to do with Deion, didn't they? Jackson State missed out on so many opportunities to monopolize and make so much money. And what did he do? He went to Colorado. They already had a business model and plan set for everything.
Yeah.
We're going to get you. We got bobbleheads. We got jerseys. We got whatever you want. We're going to make money. And it went directly back into the program.
And Perry, I'm glad you mentioned that too, because when they start making all that money off of Colorado, people saying, okay, well, how come Colorado taking advantage of them? I said, okay, my thing is this: why didn't JSU do the exact same thing?
Because they were scared.
Because I'm guessing that a lot of these spring games were free admission. There's no reason why those spring games should have had a charge, so you could bring money into your athletic departments. You got to find a way to make money somehow. We keep waiting on the silver, I guess, like this like benefactor to come and say, oh, we're going to get blessed with a lot of money, or we're going to wait for the state to go, oh, it's money. Okay, fine. We get all that. We get we're underfunded. Totally understand that. What are you doing today and or tomorrow to make things better? Let's have that conversation. So if that guy is still on, which I hope he's not, but if he's still on, get with the times.
I won't say I hope he's not. You know what I'm saying? The only way you're gonna learn is if you're listening. You know what I'm saying? The only way you're gonna learn is if you're listening. Yeah. No, he might call back in again. Of course, I might have to hit my head against the toilet again, like I did an hour ago when he got on the first time. So I don't want to do that again. Lord have mercy.
But yeah, man. But
appreciate the call. No, but appreciate the call though, JB.
Gotcha.
All right, man.
Hey, Scotty, I like the old thing where they say, give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. You teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime.
Yeah.
That's what we need. What we want to do. We trying to eat for the day.
But how long have I been? I've said it for probably 2 years now, maybe a year and a half. I said it the whole time Deion was there that he was playing them, but well, that's neither here nor there. But just in regards to just how they handle, even the SWAC and how they handled Deion was wrong. Like you could have used, this is what I'm saying in innovating, right? Okay, we don't have this, we don't have that. We could use Deion's publicity and lightning rod ability to jumpstart something, a network programming, whatever. HBCU game, they literally rebuilt their whole platform to talk about Neely in Pothole State. Let me ask you, until that time, they did no such thing, right? So they saw the advantage, they saw the movement, and they jumped on it. Just like every other YouTuber who came in that space at the time, who saw Deion. And the same thing they're doing at Colorado. Them Colorado YouTubers are doing the exact same thing. The same thing that they did in this space, they jumped over to Colorado and did in the Colorado space. So
I promise you, they got plenty of them.
Plenty of them. They popping up every other week. So my thing is this. My issue, and with my issues always going to be with the SWAC, is you have to be more innovative in what you're doing, and just doing the same old is not going to work. Let me take this caller. Coach Green, long time no see, man. Long time no hear. So what's going on?
What's up? What's up, fellas?
What's good? What's goody?
You know, man, been a long time since I talked to you guys, man. Especially you, Scotty, man.
Yeah, you don't won a few championships, and you know what I'm saying. And then now you coming on about ready for football season.
Nigga been busy. We're out here recruiting, and I also coach tennis, so I'm doing my little tennis thing too right now.
That's what's up.
But doing our recruiting, man, trying to get ready for next year as far as basketball.
That's great. That's good. What's going on?
Man, look, man. All right, Brian Gumble, sometimes Brian Gumble be coming on here and just be talking. Because one thing we got to stop doing is putting all HBCUs in the same box, especially when it comes to facilities. Because like you said, you've been to Alabama State. You saw what that looked like, huh?
Yeah. Oh, that thing was nice.
Yeah. So when it comes to recruiting, man, as somebody that actually goes out and recruit, one, you got to sell your program.
Okay.
That's how you get players. You sell your program. Two, you got to do the player development part. That's the biggest thing. And then your program will take off after that if you do it the right way. Because look at a school like where I'm at right now. Shoot, we was just there at one point. Now we like one of the top teams around. And we getting all these, and we in the transfer portal getting all these different type of transfers. This past year we had a player that played at West Virginia and LSU that played for us. We had two players from Sam Houston State. So, and we still working on some more D1 transfers that come over here. Because at the end of the day, most of these kids want to do, they want to play. Cause at the end, because after their first year, they don't care how your facilities look. They want to get on the court.
Yeah.
Or the football field. Or the baseball field. Because they behind the depth chart. So they want to find somewhere to play. So that's all we got to do to build. And basketball is one of the sports I feel like we can get there faster with. As far as more instead of football. Football is going to take a little time, but basketball we get there faster. Because one of the other programs that come to gyms or arenas, Alabama A&M with Thorn hat, that bad boy nice.
Yeah.
So she should better pull in some players.
Yeah.
So that's the type of stuff we're gonna take, man. When like Howard University, they got an actual practice facility, not just the gym. And they just remodeled their practice facility for men and women. So some schools got some of the resources. Prairie View, I know you haven't been there yet, but once you go down there, shoot, just as good as Alabama State. It's all about selling your program at the end of the day, man. That's all it is about, man. And you get the players in. Because if we could get it here at Little Old Russ, some of these schools could get them.
Okay. Hey, man, appreciate the call, though, Coach Green. You be safe out there.
No problem.
All right, man. Hey, I see you, Monty, 9137. I'm coming to you next. Listen, we're gonna talk about. We got one more segment in the show, so make sure y'all stay tuned with us. I know we're going longer than normal, but I want to be clear because there's some things about development that is going to come down in the next segment I'm going to talk about. But my thing is this. You're going to, I keep saying this all the time. I say this all the time. The PWIs can't get everybody. No matter how much money they got, they can't have everybody. There's kids out there to be gotten. Okay. So I somewhat agree with that. My thing is this. What are you doing with the stuff that you have? People say, oh, don't put us all in the big pot together. Okay. What is Prairie View doing that's different than Bethune-Cookman?
And the vast majority of these athletes don't know about no HBCU. That's point blank. Like, we know about them. We just assume if you black in America, you know about an HBCU. These kids don't know about no HBCUs like that.
Yeah.
And that's the harsh reality that I think we got to swallow our pride and understand that just because we black, everybody don't know about us. Everybody don't know who we are. So we talking about we want this top talent. We want all these kids. You got to put yourself in a position for them to know who you are.
Yeah. Listen,
they do not know who we are.
I went to Howard Stadium for however much they paying for tuition. That stadium is atrocious. The seats atrocious. Like for you, if you telling me what Howard is supposed to mean in the black community, in the scholaristic, that this negates everything that old man said. He's like, oh, you get a better education. That's the propaganda. Well, the propaganda I've been told is that Howard is Howard. It's the Harvard of black people, right? I went to that stadium. It was ass. Absolute. The reserve seating that you pay extra money for is damn near Spirit Airlines. Okay, my knees rubbing up behind the next seat. The seat cushion was ripped. I could barely read the numbers on the hoe. Like, what are we? And you got kids paying $40,000 to $50,000 a semester to go there. But the propaganda would tell you that it's supposed to be the best thing smoking. It is horrible. It is. My high school stadium is better than Howard in Maryland. In Maryland, don't give a damn about football. Not like that anyway, right? There's Maryland high school stadiums that are better than Howard, where you're paying $40,000 to $50,000 a semester to sit in some Spirit Airlines seats. Come on, man. What are we talking about right now? What are we talking about? It's Howard. So if this is what it is, what are you expecting? What are you expecting from people? It just shows you don't care about athletics. That's what it tells me.
Does Travis ever go to Jackson State without Deion Sanders?
No.
There we go.
No, he don't go to no Jackson State. Have they got another Travis Hunter without Deion? Don't worry, I'll wait. Because they remember that J hat was something. Remember? You remember them? You remember them hats? You remember them J hats on the table? Where I don't even know what my stuff is. But you remember them J hats all over the tables? I ain't seen one. I ain't seen one. We looking at the All-American game. Who gonna pull out the J hat? Not no more. Not no more.
No.
Okay. Hey, Monty, coming to you.
What's going on, Scotty?
What's up, Monty? Talk to me.
It's like this, man. HBCUs, we have the talent, but it's time to move those old heads out and go with some of the younger people that's in some of the younger talent to take over commissioner roles, to take over some of these university roles. I think about right up here in Detroit, Brad Holmes, who's a graduate of North Carolina A&T, single-handedly turned around the Detroit Lions at only 44 years old. I guarantee if that brother tried getting a job in the SWAC as a commissioner or whatnot, he would have been turned away.
Facts.
On his age.
Facts.
And so when you even think about when Jackson State got Deion,
because of their athletic director, who was young, who thought outside the box and swung for the fences and got them. However, he didn't have the full support in order to keep them, because I guarantee that $1 million or whatever that, that they offered at the last minute that you reported to try to give Deion, that should have been a table up front, because just like Colorado bet on black. They changed their whole school program, their enrollment, everything Deion needed to change at Colorado to make it fit for him and the kids he wanted to bring there, they did. From the food to everything. The only thing Deion couldn't change at Colorado was that Nike contract, but I guarantee he talking probably with Under Armour, whenever that's up, to try to, get them back in there. That was the only thing he couldn't change. And remember, the athletic director said, hey, we don't even have the money yet, but you and I know within the first month, they raised that money just off of the merchandise as well, that went up 600% because they had a plan. Meanwhile, when Deion was at Jackson, there was so much hating and infighting going on, and didn't have a plan to do something with a talent like that. And in regards to the social media, which all Jackson State, Bucky came in and ran the social media, and you talked about it numerous times. Most of HBCUs still have not stepped up in that department, when it's the majority of our people that makes a lot of these platforms go.
Yeah.
So that's all I wanted to add. Good show as always, brothers. Hey, keep up the good work, man, and go Offscript.
Boy, you stupid. Appreciate it, Monty. That boy dumb. Listen, let me ask you this, P. How willing? This is my thing. How willing do you think the conference would have been if Deion wanted to be the commissioner?
How willingly
would the conference? If let's say he leaves Colorado, Shedeur gets drafted, he leaves Colorado, he says, "Hey, I think I'll make a great commissioner for the SWAC." How willing do you think the SWAC conference and the presidents as a whole would be for that change? Because you got to understand what comes with that when you make those type of decisions. Because to me, I like. Okay,
they're not gonna be willing, because Deion gonna make them look. It's gonna be shameful when he's in meetings and he's gonna have his team of people and talking to them, and as he's talking deals and talking how to do things, he's gonna expect them to have some form of knowledge or have some understanding. And I think the reality of the room is gonna settle in, like, we really don't know these things.
Yeah.
As he's talking about, how can we network with this company? How can we brand and market it with this company? How can we use social media better? How can we use our media deals and rights? Because just think about how much his influence was simple at that small time at Jackson State, with how they did business with the Southern Heritage Classic for all of those years. And it took him to come in and say, you know what, for what we getting at the Southern Heritage, we can play a home game. We already packing out our stadium. What are we going up here to make somebody else some money for, when we can play this game at home and get paid more than what we getting up from up there?
Yeah.
It took somebody have to be willing to listen to that. Ashley Robertson, when you put him on the forefront, is different from a lot of ADs from around the conference.
Yeah.
Right? He's different. So I think they would not be willing, because Deion does not hold his tongue about anything. And it will be probably a lot of professional shaming, sitting in a room of people who you think of this high status and standard, because that's how they act when they go around. Like, do you know who I am?
Absolutely.
And then when you get in that room and you realize who you are really at that much value, because what you used to stun on everybody with don't hold no weight in this room, because you got somebody who's been there before, who's going to open your eyes and take you out of that comfortable place. Now, that's the number one thing I think scares a lot of people, that comfortable place. being comfortable for what it's been and how you see it. He's going to be in there with his group of people and working these deals and saying this and X, Y, and Z. And these people going to be in their administration and ADs. And a lot of this is going to be going over their head. And it's going to be hard to comprehend and keep up. So I don't think they will be willing, because at that point, it's just like anything. It's going to push people out the way. And nobody wants their job threatened or jeopardized, because they typically hire their circles for a reason and stick that flag down, and those circles hold on, those regimes hold on at these HBCUs for a while. In athletics, in administration. And when you got somebody like that, and that's why a lot of times young talent, when you talk about young people at our schools, we'll run them off and they'll find a way to go be successful somewhere else.
Yeah.
And we'll push them away from our schools because guess what? They're a threat. Now, the issue is they may have all the ideas and everything to be able to move that school and whatever else in that next direction, but the powers that be scared, because guess what? They may not be the ass kissers. They may not be in your circle, but they seem to probably know more than you and the people that you hired. And because you don't have, and I always tell people, my loyalty lies within the institution and not the individual. Individuals come and go. The institution will live on forever. You know how many people have been a part of our institution since their inception, and they have died and gone?
Yeah.
So my loyalty is with the institution, not the individual. I still rely on the mission of the institution, not the agenda of an individual. And until we get that in our mind, that it ain't about the agenda of the individual, that it's the agenda of what the institution was founded and based upon. Because I think HBCUs as a whole, when you listen to people talk about those leaders of yesteryears, they were a different breed of people.
Yeah.
Compared to the leaders that we have, that I don't hear people speaking so highly of the leaders at our HBCUs the way that they were talking. I just use Southern like a Felton G. Clark. You know, like a Dolores Spikes. You know, people who were monumental. And when they walked around, their presence was felt not because of a title, not because of a status, but it was because what they did in order to change the culture of that institution to make you who you are, that diamond in the rough. Going off, learning something somewhere else and say, how can we use that here? And if we got to weed out the bad in order to grow with the good, that's fine. It's like having a rose bush and a rose garden. Sometimes you got to get in there and get dirty and pull out those weeds. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get you.
You got to clean it out in order for those roses to flourish. So I think that matters here for us.
I think the thing that has bothered me when I see some of these comments, and just like in my spirit, is just like, what could this conference look like with the right person at the helm? Like that's I think that's a question I got. We have 320 people on here. We're going to have some viewers watch the replay and all that type of stuff. You probably won't get this far, but I want y'all to just think about, because what I've learned, and stay with me, I'm going to get a little spiritual, right? That God gives us an imagination for a reason, to show you what he can do in your life, right? So with me, when I sit back and I just think, and I'm like, what if, not if everything was perfect, right? Because that's not life. But if you had the right person at the top of the crown, what could the SWAC really look like?
It could be absolutely amazing, because what we have is something nobody else can offer when it comes to a college experience. And it's a cultural background that is tied to education along with athletics. And you cannot get that anywhere else. When you go to a PWI, you got to be a part of the Black Alumni Association, right? You go to the PWI, they got to have the African American Week at school just to acknowledge who you are. When you go to the PWI, when the band happens to play that one black song, that's all you get. But we have something that I think just take the bands along, and until we realize that our bands are truly more powerful than our football teams, Because unfortunately, that's an unpopular opinion that people don't want. Our bands are true. Our bands get us through the door that our athletics never will be. Like, your band can go play in the Rose Bowl parade, but your football team will never make the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
And be on a national stage. Your band can go play in the Macy's Day Parade.
Yeah.
Your band can go perform at a battle of the bands with 60,000, 50,000 people in there, in which you can market yourself. Your band just puts you in a different place and creates a different type of excitement at HBCUs that your sports teams typically don't get. Because you put an HBCU bands just feel like, regardless of the fact, your sports teams can lose a game. An HBCU band feel like they never lost anything. I don't give a damn who they battle.
Undefeated.
Everybody's undefeated. There is no stats of wins and losses when it comes to the band. So the band has unlimited ways to flaunt who they are and how, and say, we've never lost to anybody. I don't give a damn who we are.
But this is, what Mr. Levette, and listen, Mr. Levette, I appreciate him. He says the leadership of the conference doesn't matter. I disagree with that. The president, the leadership of the conference doesn't matter. The presidents run the commissioner. What they want is what the moves the commissioner decisions. Listen, Mr. Levette, that's how PWIs move. I'm gonna say that again. Please hear me when I say this. That is how PWIs. That's how their conference moves, right? That's how you have Florida State suing the ACC. That's how you have Clemson and them trying to break away. Like, they know the power that they have, and when they want some more money, right? That's how you have the Pac-12 debacle and them leaving. HBCUs are not, I'm telling you what I know. The SWAC is not made like that. The SWAC is, the commissioner is the judge, jury, and executioner. The only, listen, I know for a fact, most of the presidents in the position don't even know the bylaws in which they're governed by, which other conferences don't know either, but that's just the name of the game, right? But the position that the commissioner holds, it shocks me, because there's no way, listen to me very carefully, there's no way a commissioner tells an institution that they cannot partner with a media partner, and then you look around and everybody got their own thing. You, like, listen, this is what I'm telling you what I know. I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. Dr. Charles told FAMU to leave HBCU Plus, that they were breaking an ESPN agreement. And when you look around the conference, everybody has their own network.
Other has the Jaguar Sports Network.
Alabama State just did the Alabama State Hornet jank. FAMU got the Rattlers Plus. Jackson State got the Jackson Sports Network. Alabama got their stuff on YouTube. Valley got their stuff on YouTube. Prairie View got Texas Southern got their stuff. This is what I'm saying to you. If you know the rules, if you know how the game is played, you don't get played. So what I'm saying in the sense of the SWAC, and Mr. Levette's calling them, after I'm done, I'm gonna answer his call. But what I'm saying to the SWAC officials and people in the SWAC, I don't know how the MEAC runs themselves. I'm not a fan of that commissioner either. But all I'm saying is this. My thing is, if you had the right person at the top of the mountain, listen, the presidents have the control. Okay, let me give you a good example. The presidents have the control, but they don't have the leadership of it, right? Like, what I mean by that is they don't run anything. A lot of the presidents don't even know what's going on in athletics. A lot of the presidents didn't even know what the HBCU Go deal entailed.
And you know what the issue is, Scotty? We quick to say the presidents are in charge, but guess what? Who's supposed to hold them accountable? If our alumni associations had active members and was strong and actually cared about what was going on, we can hold him accountable in his decision making. And it starts from the bottom. See, we always look at the person at the top and we think one person got all the power, but it's the people. The people tend to always forget that we have power as the people. We got to hold them accountable when it comes to decision making. So if there was an idea of a commissioner that needs to be hired from the conference to run the conference, we should have direct influence on our president's decision making.
Absolutely. My question, listen, this is the thing that kills me. And I'm gonna get you to you. I'm gonna get to you right after I say this, Mr. Levette. The only team that has a regional network that I know for sure is North Carolina A&T. Nobody else has a regional network. Do y'all not understand if you put something on the internet, it's not regional? Like, when are people going to be smart enough to understand if you put something on the internet, it can't be regional?
It's global.
It's like, goddamn, like, how stupid can y'all be? If you put something on the internet, it is logically impossible for you to keep it in a region.
What's regional is like Roman Banks, athletic director, does his show on Pelican Sports. Pelican Sports is a local channel that goes out throughout the region of the state of Louisiana. It's not on the internet, it's on cable television.
That's the only way. If it's not on cable television, it's the only way it cannot be. That's the only way it can be regional, is because it's a regional like your radio show, right? The Jaguar Journal. That is a regional podcast. That's a regional area, right? Once you upload something on the internet, it is no longer regional.
From regional to something global. That was the reason why I did.
On YouTube, right? Like, that's why you moved it to YouTube, because now I can watch it. I can listen to you in Georgia. I mean, in Ohio. We can listen to you in Georgia. We can listen to you in California. Like, come on, man. Mr. Levette, coming to you.
What's up? What's up, Scotty?
What's up?
I was trying to stay in the comments, but you made me pick up the phone. So listen, like, I was like, come on, Scotty, please. No, I'm really trying to. But listen, what I'm saying is this, and this is I don't know how long you follow the SWAC, but I remember the commissioner before McCullough, whatever his name is, his name was Suber.
No,
and he was making horrible deals in the SWAC. And he was doing bad things. The SWAC presidents came together and they got him up out of there. So to Perry's point, what Perry was saying, if the presidents got together and led by their alums and antagonized by their alums to find out what's going on, they can push the SWAC commissioner to do whatever they want. We just saw FAMU harass their AD and change the whole landscape of their football coach hire. So I think it can be done. You've just got to get enough of those presidents to work together to come up with ideas of what they want to see out of their conference. Or, just like you said, the commissioner is going to do whatever he wants to do. And it's the same issue with the MEAC, which is a little bit of the reason why A&T left the MEAC in the first place, because we're sitting at the table. We don't like this. Well, everything else is fine. We all right. Everything's great.
Yeah.
No, everything ain't great. And then when we left, now we're the sellouts. But whatever. Like, I just feel like at the end of the day, the SWAC has the power to move and direct McCullough, whatever his name is, to do whatever you want him to do. That's just my argument, because the schools make up the conference. The SWAC ain't nothing without the schools, right?
That is absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. But
I hear your frustration, but the people have to get into their president's ear. And one thing I can say to A&T that I like about our AD, he don't do what we want him to do, but he'll at least listen to you. He'll at least take the email. Hey, Mr. Levette, thank you for your comments. We'll take it under advisement. Send. At least I know he read it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe that's what it's going to take. But I'll take it offline. I appreciate you guys. Great show.
Thank you, Mr. Levette. Appreciate you. Listen. The thing is, I keep telling y'all, and I know we going way over time, but I keep telling y'all is that Dr. Charles is the boyfriend after an abusive relationship, right? You get this girl is getting out of an abusive relationship. She been beat on, she been done wrong, she been cheated on, and then here comes Dr. Charles. You so sweet, you so pretty. Buys you a cup of chocolates, buys you some flowers, and you think he's the best thing since sliced bread.
And he was the dude that she knew all along. Very familiar. That was, I already knew
in the background. He's been in the background, right? You've been crying on his shoulder, telling him all the stuff that's been going on, how he been doing you wrong.
And he like, you should give me a chance. And they like, you know what? Don't sound too bad.
That's that's really what it all came down to. You're just doing the bait, like the pure basics.
He was just familiar for the moment, right? We needed somebody that was familiar, who we saw have some success, and it was like, well, he gets it because he's had success and he's come from this conference, right? That's cool, and we hired from within. But how long, was that supposed to go? Was that supposed to just be a transition thing? A rebound? Or is this something we turn from a rebound and we're going to make this ongoing? Because I got to think, as if I'm a president, if I'm not taking this serious, why are we wasting our time with athletics?
Yeah.
Like if we're not going to sit down and take this serious collectively and realize what ways can we grow, why are we wasting our time with athletics in the first place? If I'm going to look around, we got to be sitting down saying, all right, fellas, ladies, whoever, what is our plan 5-10 years from now collectively?
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you what I got is a vision for my school.
Yeah.
Because I got a vision for mine.
Yeah.
And I know where I'm trying to go in 5-10 years. Once again, birds of a feather flock together. If you want to know where you're going to be in 5 years, look at your 5 closest friends. And that's that sit down when you have with your friends. Say, hey, man, I'm about to go to school. What y'all about to do? You still want to stay live with your mama in your mama house?
Yeah.
And, sit around and do what y'all do every day? Because them the same friends, when you go off and you come back, ain't nothing changed.
Be right there.
Same shit, different day.
Right there.
Right? But you got an opportunity. So you got to look around and say, well, I have a vision for myself in 5-10 years where I'm trying to go. Right? And I put it on the table to see, does that spark your interest? Have you thought about this? Then collectively, where can we go then? Anybody else in the room? Will there be one? Somebody else? Oh, you feeling that too? Okay, you feeling that? Well, how can we do that together? That's what I think we got to have. And if our presidents aren't taking this serious, if our presidents don't see the world of athletics the way we see them, like as everybody say, the PWIs.
Yeah.
If we're not sitting down watching what the world of athletics is turning to, then we might as well should give it up. Well, not even necessarily give it up, but not taking it serious no more. Why waste our time paying these football coaches all this money? For what?
For what?
We're not taking it serious.
That could be money put into something else.
Thank you. If that's if we're not gonna come together collectively and come up with a true idea and a true vision, why are we wasting our time? I'm looking to raise 300,000. I seem to find money when I want it. I can find it, can I?
I think my Perry, real quick before I go to Coach Green. Okay. My thing is this: like, why hasn't there been a SWAC conference initiative, right? Like, hey, we want all our teams to have 4K cameras by year 2028. This is the goal. We're gonna put money. You see, because I'll say this because people are like, Scotty, well, other conferences don't do that. Well, we don't consider ourselves like other conferences because it's more like a brotherhood. It's more like a family type of thing. It's more like, hey, we keeping this in the family. We doing this together. So to me, I think there should be more initiatives together. Like, hey, we're trying to bring this up, or hey, we're going to try to get everybody turf field, or we're going to, you get what I'm saying? Like, just something to where everybody's on the same page and everybody's moving to one goal and you slowly checking things off the box together. And when people are paying dues, now it makes them feel like they're paying dues matters, because now when I'm giving you my little 40 or 30% back to the conference, I know it's coming back in some type of way. Oh, we're going to take care of Valley's field first. They got the worst one. Boom, we're going to take care of that. All right, then we're going to move over to, everybody else got turf field. Y'all good, y'all good. Okay, you need a turf field. Okay, boom. We're going to drop money for that turf field. Okay, everybody good? All right.
And my brother's keeper.
So we can't talk like it is and then not move in that direction. And then we work on the cameras. Hey, y'all need 4 new cameras. All right, cool. Y'all need a new scaffolding. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like little things like that, to where you're all moving together collectively. You know what I'm saying? And
when one eat, we all eat, B.
That's we can't say we don't want to move. We don't want to move up individually because we work together, but then we don't do nothing together to grow together. I don't make sense to me. But Coach Green, coming to you.
All right. I feel like you when you talk about this, you really don't ask the right questions. All right, because I really the presidents run the conference, but they run it from a distance at times. That is true, because most of all presidents at all these schools do that. The next level of the conversation need to be about all the ADs, because also the ADs meet with the commissioner and they talk about certain stuff with different ideas. Because I got a little insight to how some of this go, because our conference do the same thing. They meet, they talk about stuff, and when we talk, of course, people have egos about certain things, but they talk it out, and then they come out with their ideas. So I believe the ADs talk about a lot of stuff, but the question you got to ask, who's the strongest voice in that room with all them ADs? Because all the ADs that's in the SWAC. Who's the strongest voice? Who's speaking up on certain stuff? Who's suggesting this and that?
Let me say this.
And how many of those ADs all be on the same side of that particular AD?
The one of the things that I've come to realize in just my time in this area is that a lot of people have loyalties towards the commissioner because they've gotten jobs based off the commissioner recommending them, right? So it's like, I won't call it a conflict of interest, because that's how business is done, right? I know a guy and my guy would be good for that position, but then there's a loyalty to that guy that now blinds you in some aspects, because now I'm not willing to challenge, because I wouldn't even have had this job if it wasn't for you. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of that in some of the AD space as well. I'm not saying it's everybody, of course not, but you have those intricate parts as well. So to me, there's just a lot of nuances within the way that it's being played out. My only thing is this. I feel like there's certain situations within the conference that should be discussed and should be talked about, and I don't think that they were. And I'm telling you, from what I've heard, and this is all like he say, she say type stuff, so I'm not going to act like I heard it directly from such and such, but is that the commissioner did that HBCU Go deal outside of the purview of the presidents, brought it back to them, and they just signed it because they were like, oh, okay, cool, right? Like, it's one of those things like, oh, we think you know what you're doing, so yeah, sure, yeah. It was
having an accountant whenever they come back and tell you, hey, that's what I'm paying you for.
I'm paying you, exactly. That's what I'm paying you for. I'm not about to challenge you. I don't know what this looks like. I got too much stuff on my plate to even care. So I think it's a lot of that. And listen, I agree with you. I'll never diminish one or the other. The whole triangle needs to be fixed, right? The whole food group ladder, grains, vegetables, whoever you want to call it, sweets, grains, pasta, whatever. They all need to get challenged in this case, because at the end of the day, go ahead.
I'll say this also, when you talk about, he went to the president. I ain't gonna say he just went to, you can't really say he went straight to the president. He probably went to the AD and talked about it, and the AD probably had their input, but the thing you want to ask is, how much did they really look at it?
Okay, so let me ask you this. So if
and was satisfied with it.
So let me ask you this: that I would say I disagree with that assessment, because when the deal came down, Deion said straight up, "We're not doing that. We're not broadcasting on HBCU Go." So to me, if you would have had a conversation with your AD and Deion was just he was literally like AD Junior, right, for Jackson State, they would have already come to that agreement to say, yo, we're gonna do this and this, we're trying to set this up. That's not what happened. The deal came down. Deion said, we're not broadcasting none of our games on HBCU Go, and it's continued to be that way.
But you got to look at it. It's something. Deion's situation is completely different because he wanted it on ESPN, and he got the pull because he know the right folks to even push that.
And Jackson State still has not gone back. Jackson State still hasn't gone back. Deion's gone. He's been gone for a whole year, and they still haven't gone on HBCU Go.
Only thing I haven't been on that is football. That's the only thing I haven't been on there. Football. And then, like you said, ESPN got first dibs. And they still had Jackson State still had a little bit momentum coming off of Deion. So, of course, they want to keep on showing it on ESPN. So, you got to look at that part, too.
I mean, that's fair. I know.
Because it still was coming off their momentum, dog.
Okay. I mean, I don't know how much momentum you get with losing 60 players on the portal, but hey, listen, that's just my little 2 cents.
It was basically, let's see what somebody that worked under Deion do. That was the thing with that.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Coach Griff? I'll let you go.
Nah, that's pretty much it, man. All I'm saying, it's a lot of stuff that goes into it, though, man. Because by me actually sitting in the room and listening to all ADs talk and coaches talk, it's a lot.
I hope you speaking up. I hope you speaking up and making some good points. I hope you just ain't sitting there, just taking it.
Oh, I speak up now. I speak up on certain stuff. I have.
Okay. All right. Appreciate the call, though, Coach Green. All right, Perry. Last point before we get up out of here.
I think you made the point when you were saying about having that loyalty, is you saying if being recommended and getting that position for ADs because of the commissioner's impression and the power that he has. I think you take that same example and you apply that to different divisions and different areas throughout the school. And that typically is where you have the issue where somebody may not challenge things in which, you can work smarter and not harder.
Yeah.
Right. And I've had that problem working at a job, working in a corporate job before, where there was an idea that don't say nothing, just do what's told. But what was told was making me work harder and not smarter. I'm efficient with my time. I came up with a new system and a new way that was efficient. It followed all the policy and guidelines. And guess what? It got the job done. It was a lot more efficient. Now, when I bring that up now, guess what? Oh, you disruptive. No, I'm not disruptive. I'm coming up and guess what? They'll call you disruptive, push you out the way, and then still take your idea and use it. But you can't never use it like the original. That's why they say it can be imitated but never duplicated. It happens a lot of times all over the place. Man, we just really, and I guess my last thought is, we just got to do better as alums. As much as we give this power to a commissioner, as much as we give this power to an AD, as much as we give this power to a president, at the end of the day, all of this matters about the money. All of this matters about your alumni federation and your foundations that you're putting the money into and that you're standing together as a voice.
Yeah.
Because you'll be surprised at what you can do as a voice. If 1,000 of y'all get together and say, if y'all don't change, we're not sending nobody we know to this school. 1,000 y'all get together and say, all the money we've been giving to this school for dues and everything else, that we're going to stop it. The numbers always and the power always rely into the people. And the people often forget that and think it's a person, a singular person. It's within the people. Wasn't slavery like that?
Yeah.
The mental game that a slave owner and a few white men can run a whole plantation with hundreds of black folks. Isn't that crazy? Isn't it though?
Yeah.
But the powers are when the numbers, and when the numbers ever wake up and realize that we have the power, you can change and do anything that you want. You will force people to have to listen and watch, and whatever your demands are, they will have to adhere to it. But until we figure that out, until we see that, we won't understand, because we sit back and we just say, hey, the president should do all this. Well, sometimes let's guide our presidents. Let's get together with our alumni chapters and our alumni federations and whatever we do in our foundations where our money go, and say, look, moving forward, this is what we want. Until we do that, it's the same way with your community. You'll see that ditch that need to be filled in with a drainage. You need a sidewalk put on it so the kids won't have to walk in the street. You'll see that light post up there with no lights down your block and been like that for 2 years and nobody put a light up. But guess what? Until you talk to your councilman or councilwoman, because the power lies within the people.
Facts.
Why do you think on Lean On Me, that woman was threatening Joe Clark? Because she went to the mayor and everybody else, to the police chief, talking about how many people she had behind her that's going to vote because an election was coming up, right?
Yeah.
That's the power in the people. So until we learn that from our everyday neighborhoods to our institutions of higher learning, we're going to continue to realize that we just put the power in one person's hand and we expect for them to do all the saving. But guess what? If you put the power in somebody's hand and step back and let them do what they want, they're going to typically find themselves doing their own agenda, and not the agenda that you think is best for you and the institution and its future, because you left them unattended. And you leave somebody unattended long enough and watch what they do.
Whatever they want.
Whatever they want.
Whatever they want.
That's what we're dealing with.
I'll
Whatever you want.
I'll say this, that, yeah, and I'm always going to go back to this. What bothers me to the core is, as individuals, as African Americans, as the culture or whatever, is that I feel like we're not doing enough with the resources and the opportunities that we have in front of us. And during the man's era of the 70s and 80s and the 90s, I'm not saying they did everything right, but they got the most out of it. Why? They got the most out of it to get you to the next decade, right? Like we kept moving forward to get us to the next decade. And I just feel like I just feel like there's no initiative or ingenuity or anything on those aspects just to take us to another level, to imagine us on another level. And it's sad to see us as our own people tell us what we cannot do. Tell us where we cannot reach. Tell us where we should not go. Like, I'm just like, like, we've been told as a group of people, we have been marginalized and told what we cannot do. And every time we've exceeded expectation. Every time we've pushed the boundary, we've pushed the edge, we've kicked in the front door, we've kicked in the back door. But now, when you have nothing but space and opportunity to be as creative as you want in your own space, to do what you feel and listen, I understand the parameters of politics and state governments and all that, but in what you can't control, you don't control. It just sucks. It sucks to see. It sucks to see it. And I'm just like, there's people out here in today's society that would get in these positions and kill it. And absolutely kill it, and show you what the value is of an all-black conference and what that value is really worth. And it bothers me. But I know you. It seems like you got a response. Go ahead, Pete.
Well, I was just gonna say, when COVID happened, right? Nobody thought we had the capabilities for this online world.
Yeah.
How are we gonna do this? This is not possible, because beforehand There's no way we can do it. Hey, didn't it happen?
Yeah.
Isn't that the world we live in now? The only thing is we got forced to have to change it. So then we decided, all right, we could do it. Whole time you had the capability of doing it. It's not until you got to force their hand. And that's the problem. You know how tough it is to have to force somebody's hand every time you want change? That's just, you get tired of that, having to force the hand just for change.
Yeah.
When it can happen. And it's earlier what you said, collectively, how do we make this work together? Like that money we get from the Celebration Bowl, that should be a meeting of, all right, as a conference as a whole, what can we do with this money for
to grow the brand of the SWAC, to grow the brands for the institution? Yeah. Because the SWAC growing means the conference is growing. That's what you.
And instead of that money going to the schools, hey, what if we came and said, hey, let's put that in the pot? And the more we put in the pot the next couple of years, then we can launch that SWAC network. We didn't self-invested back in ourselves, because we're going to survive regardless if we get that money or not from the Celebration Bowl. We're going to survive. But the fact that we're able to get that amount of money consistently, let's put that in the pot. We got a 5-year plan. For 5 years, we plan in the Celebration Bowl, and we see the vision of what it's going to be that we collectively have already sat down and said, in our 5-year plan, we want to have a network in 5 years.
And P, it could be something simple like this. Hey, this is what we're going to do. We'll give the winning team $600,000. The team that played in the Celebration Bowl, win, lose, or draw, they get $600K. The $400K, we'll just put that to the side for the next 5 years, and we'll let that accrue. And then once that accrue, we'll move it. We'll have a plan for this money. You know what I'm saying? We'll have what? 2 million, 400,000, 5 years, 2 million, and I'm 22. Yeah, I think I'm right. But you know what I'm saying? So you got $2 million, right? And now we can do something with that money. Let me see, because I don't want to, because people be like, my math be off, so I don't want to. Let me see. 400,000 times 5. Yeah, 2 million. Okay, I was right. So yeah, now you got $2 million sitting here. Now what can we do with this money? Right? Like where do we go? Because
we didn't have to go scrape this money up. We just it's a savings account.
We was gonna get this money regardless. We was gonna get this money regardless, right? So $2 million, in my personal opinion, you should be able to upgrade everybody's cameras. Right?
You should be able to hire the personnel, the people to run what you need with $2 million. All right, now we got a salary. You pay somebody $80,000, $90,000 for the next 5 years, okay? Now we've invested back, and now we got another 5-year plan. What we gonna do is just because we got to work together if we're gonna be doing all this together. It's resources. You just got to properly plan and understand how to utilize your resources and maximize it. Because trust me, whether we play in a Celebration Bowl or not, that money not gonna make or break us paying our bills at the end of the day.
Exactly, right? So I just think there's a way to get around a lot of the circumstances that we fall into. And like you said, now, and think about this. You can, like you said, now we can go get a consultant, right? Now we can go pay a firm to go look for media deals and go after these big deals that we're looking for, or get this entertainment lawyer that we're looking for that we can go negotiate on our behalf and really get our value, right? And where we and what we need and where we need to value at, or get a program director in, or anything like that, right? And let's say we just say, hey, this is going to be the ongoing thing. We'll just keep that 400,000 coming. So now you just got a rotating bucket of money. Like once it, you know what I'm saying?
You say that for 5 years. Let's just say you spend $400,000 a year, but you've already accumulated $2 million. That 400,000 can make a lot of shit work.
And now you're using money that you was getting anyway to now grow your business, right?
It's an investment. And now when you get that investment, now you create that investment to make even more money to put to that pot. So now you got the money that you saved in your savings account. I just started another thing, And now we got even more money. I got money coming from two ways: from the simple investment that we did collectively as a conference with a 5-year plan.
Yeah.
Now we hire the right people. Now we continue to grow our investment.
Absolutely.
Now we continue to grow our branding and marketing. Now everybody talking about what we can't do when it comes to creating a network. There's ways to do it.
Yeah.
See, you just got to think outside the box.
Yeah.
We just be so stuck on what somebody ain't gave us and think about what we are getting.
Yeah.
And figure out how to utilize it, how to best come together and take the resources that we do have, because it ain't all dead, because if that was the case, HBCUs wouldn't have survived this long. But that goes back to what you said. You'll find a million ways to tell me how not to be able to do something, but we just sat here, and even through all the ways to say what we can't do, we still clawing to find ways of what we can do. Because there's plenty more ideas that we just got to keep thinking. This is why you bring ideas and sit at the table, because the more you talk, the more you go, you start to realize you can put different things in play.
Yeah.
We just came up with that.
Yeah. Off the cuff. But it's wanting to be different. It's thinking outside the box. It's wanting to see something change, right? You got to want to see change. You got to want to see, Mr. Campbell said, revolutions aren't easy. It's not friendly. You know what I'm saying? You don't go in, you got to kick the door down and say, hey man, we got to do something different, right? We can't keep doing what we've been doing and think we're going to get a different result. That's not how it works. It should be a stand. I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna leave it on. There should be a standard of digital consumption of the SWAC. It should be a standard, either how you get your tickets, how you get your content, it's just a digital standard of what the SWAC does and what it brings and how it goes about it. Listen, man, I'm gonna tell you straight up, if I was a commissioner, I'm going down to the SEC network and I'm like, show me how this all works. Show me how this works. Because we got a partnership with ESPN. Why can't they pay for us to have a SEC network?
Yep.
Or have a SWAC network? Why can't they invest money into us having a SWAC network? You know what I'm saying? So it's all of that. But we're going to get up out of here, man. I know we went way longer than expected, but, Perry said this was going to be an open conversation. I'm glad. I'm going over the spring games tomorrow. All right, I'll go over the spring games tomorrow. If Perry's available, I will bring him back on. We can do a midday show and we can go over the spring game and the transfer portal, because it's been getting hot. Perry, text me offline. We'll see if we can come up with a time and we'll do something tomorrow. All right. Listen, guys. We appreciate y'all. Until next time, you know what I'm gonna do. I'm a holla. God bless.